Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku had the power of shadows part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗵𝗲 from Wattpad. So let's start the video. Izuku Midoriya has just woken up from being asleep for 3 days after the Cartenon Temple double dungeon. As he lifted his head, he looked down at his body only to notice something. How the hell? He moved his limbs. I was missing a leg and an arm. Then I was chopped in half. Suddenly his door opened and 2 men in suits walked in. Izuku spoke. "Who are you?" The blonde-haired man sat down with a suitcase. "We work for the Hunter Association. We are here to ask about the double dungeon." Izuku nodded. "I wanted to ask about that too. Who healed me?" They both turned their heads and the purple-haired individual spoke. "Heal you? You were fine." Izuku was now confused. I was missing an arm and a leg. Not to mention the last thing I remember was those stone statues slicing me in half on that altar thing." The blonde-haired man replied. "First, my name is 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗄. And that does seem to line up with what the survivors told us. But they never mentioned you getting sliced in half. That happened when I told them to leave." "Why did you do that?" "Well, they all have wives, kids, or still young. I just do this to help pay my mother's bills. But since my sister got into you, the principal moved her there, and it's a lot cheaper since they buy magic crystals on the cheap since they are also aligned with the government." 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗄 nodded. "Makes a bit of sense. But based on the fact that the survivors told us the same story, and when we recovered you we found the deceased, we don't have proof to believe anyone from that group killed anyone. But that raises a question. Midoriya, have you heard of a double awakening?" He nodded. "Yes. There are rare circumstances where someone achieves a double awakening. It typically happens after suffering something traumatic. But that isn't always the case. Double awakenings are also the best way to increase your ranking." 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗄 nodded. "Yes. Your rank can increase on very few things, and neither of them are common. One is a double awakening, which can make even the lowest of rankers rise to A or sometimes S rank." Izuku nodded. "Yeah, wasn't one of the hunters in Japan like that?" He nodded. "Yes. The other way is whenever someone is around plentiful mana, their body soaks it up and it increases their rank. This way is a bit more common, but there is no way to do it at will. For example, if you in E rank were to surround yourself with D ranks and C ranks, your mana would slowly increase until you reach D rank or C rank. And so on so forth. Mages have a harder time absorbing mana since they are constantly expelling mana. Assassins are also hard because they are good at masking their presence, making it so their presence can't even be detected by mana, so it doesn't enter their bodies. And if you are a multi-class in those two, it is impossible." He nodded. "Multi-class? You don't see many of those." The purple-haired man spoke. "Can we get this over with? Look, the reason we are here is to see if you experienced a second awakening. The only way you could have survived what we were told is if you received one." 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗄 put a mana meter on the table next to Izuku. "Put your hand on it." Izuku did and thought. "The main raid team I group up with are D ranks and C ranks. Except Lee Ju-hee, who is a B rank healer. Maybe I did rank up." The mana meter went off and 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗄 looked at it. "Looks like you did rank up, but only to a bottom rank D rank. Better than an E rank though. We are off." They then left. Izuku rubbed his chin. Wonder why they didn't mention this screen. Izuku went to touch it, but nothing happened. Seems like a video game screen. The screen read, "You have unread messages." Since it doesn't do anything by touch, maybe thought, if this is like a video game, then maybe I have an inbox. The screen changed to a screen that said, "Failure to comply with the system may result in a penalty. So if I don't do what the system tells me, then I will get punished." He then saw a quest tab and opened it, and a quest was there called Daily Strength Training. Open. The quest opened and it revealed the necessary things he needed to do. Push-ups 0 out of 100, sit-ups 0 out of 100, squats 0 out of 100, running 0/10 km. Seems easy enough. And I can read what the quest needs before I accept it. I will accept it tomorrow. I am already in pretty decent shape from working out with Izumi before she got into you. The first 3 should not be a problem. The one that may be is running. 10 kilometers is about 2 miles. Been on 3-mile runs with Izumi before and it isn't fun. But it doesn't say it needs to be completed all in one go so I can take breaks. Wonder if I run on a treadmill if it will count. Figure that out tomorrow. As he got up he heard a knock on the door. Come in. 3 people entered. 3 people that survived the double dungeon. Song Chiyo, Kim Sang-shik, and Lee Ju-hee. Before they spoke Izuku did, I know why you all are here. Chiyo spoke, Midoriya. Kid, we left you there. Because I told you to. If I knew that the exit was just that an exit I would have run too. You all have nothing to apologize for. Sang-shik spoke, but kid. You're just that. A kid. Me and Chiyo are grown men. Ju-hee spoke, and we have been friends since we were kids. Izuku chuckled. I know. But I told you all too. I may have not been the leader, but I was the one who did it. I don't hate any of you for it. No apology is needed. I still want to be on a strike team with you all. And I can do more now. Everyone had a confused look. Chiyo spoke. What do you mean? My rank rose. Went from the lowest E rank to a low D rank. So I can actually help more. Help you all fight. Ju-hee smiled. That's great. Maybe you won't be injured as much. Izuku groaned. Oh come on. I'm not that bad. They all chuckled and Chiyo pulled something off his hip and handed it to Izuku. You dropped this outside the gate. I know what it means to you. Izuku took it. Yeah. It was my father's dagger. It was the first thing he bought after he became an A-rank hunter. The dagger isn't much. But I do carry it everywhere. They all smiled and Izuku spoke. Oh, Chiyo. I was curious. Could you teach me fighting with a sword? He nodded. It's the least I could do. But don't you typically fight with daggers? Because that's all I could afford. But with my rank increase and me being able to help you all fight, I can get more. Meaning I can get better weapons. And needless to say, I have no training with a sword. He chuckled. Once you are recovered, I can teach you. Just shoot me a text and I will make sure you get taught the right way. Izuku nodded and everyone left. He laid back down and thought to himself, things sure have changed. 3 days have passed now. Izuku Midoriya had just finished his 3rd daily quest. As he wiped sweat from his forehead with a rag, he spoke to himself. So daily quests give 3 stat points. I have 5 areas I can put them in. Strength, perception, agility, intellect, and vitality. Strength increases how strong I am. Perception gives a sort of spidey sense to where I can sense the enemy. Agility makes me faster. Intellect seems to be magic-focused. Maybe as I level it up it would give me more mana. I don't have need for it now, but in the future I defiantly should put more into it. Vitality increases my health. I started out with 10 points in every category. I added all 9 to strength, so I am at 19 now. Once I reach a decent point I will start investing into agility, perception, and vitality in that order. Izuku rubbed his head and a message popped up on his phone and it read, You ready for training today? Izuku sent back a text, Be there soon. Did a new workout. He then got dressed and left to Song Chiyo's training center. Once he arrived, Chiyo approached. About time you got here, Midoriya. He chuckled. Oh come on. I was still recovering. I know. Well, you sure you want to try out the sword? We do teach dagger stuff here. Izuku thought for a moment. Let's see if I do well at the sword. If I don't do well, then I will just stay with daggers. Alrighty. For now I will teach you. Are you sure? I mean, you kind of He chuckled. I know I am missing an arm, but I am also far more experienced. The only other person here who has close to as much experience as me is my top student. Top student? Yes. She has only been doing this for a couple years, but she is a quick learner. Not to mention she constantly goes on higher rank gates with her guild. Izuku nodded. Maybe I will meet her. Chiyo shook his head. She isn't one for a lot of attention. Only way you can is if you improve and I make you 2 spar against each other. But if I don't do well in the sword and stick to daggers, would be even trained together. Sometimes, dagger users are typically in the assassin class. Now some assassins are strong enough to use a sword. They are tougher and shaper. But the ones that I have heard of are insanely skilled assassins. High B rank at the least. Duelist users mainly use swords, axes, or other types of weapons. Now you seem to be knowledgeable, so tell me the classes and what weapons they mainly use. Izuku nodded. Yeah. Well, there are a couple. Mage class users typically rely on magic attacks but carry a backup weapon in case they run out of mana. Typically a short sword. Duelist users are your run-of-the-mill hunters. Most hunters are duelist and typically focus on one type of weapon, such as a sword, axe, or other things. Tanks almost always have a shield and a heavy weapon, such as a mace or a heavy axe. Healers are always in the back so the other hunters protect them. Assassins mainly use daggers because they rely on stealth, speed, and sometimes strength, but like you said, some use different ones. Brawlers use hand-to-hand combat. And rangers use long-range attacks like bows and crossbows. 𝗕𝐁𝗄 smiled. Yep. Right on all accounts. Obviously you have the rare person who can multi-class in multiple ones. Yeah. It depends on how the mana in their body acts. Assassins' mana are light and it allows for quick movements and to go unnoticed more often. Tanks' mana is more dense and it allows them to take more damage. Mages and healers' mana is constantly wanted to come out, so it is far easier for mages and healers to cast spells than any other class. Duelist's mana is able to cover weapons in it a lot easier than other classes, so their weapons are supercharged in a way. And brawlers' mana are mainly focused in certain parts of their body, such as hands, feet, and joints for hand-to-hand combat, so they can deliver harder blows than any other class with just their bodies. Just right again. I constantly forget how smart you are. But yes. Now get changed into the training uniform and get ready. 3 hours later, Izuku falls onto the mat breathing heavily. Jesus. F. 𝗕𝗄𝗧 chuckled. You did pretty good for a beginner. How hard did you go? I just did beginner stuff. And I still got my butt kicked. Yep. I hate you. I know. The two laughed and Izuku sat up. Tell me you have water. Yep. Just go to the fridge. Once Izuku opened the fridge, he felt a tap on the shoulder. He turned his head and he saw a woman with short blonde hair and pink eyes. Yes. Could you hand me a water? Sure. Izuku grabbed another bottle and handed it to her with a smile. Here you are. The woman gave a small smile. Thank you. Are you new here? Izuku nodded. Yeah. Sir 𝗕𝗄𝗧 offered to train me. He did. If I may ask why. People ask to be trained by him. I saved him. You did? Well, I wouldn't exactly say I saved him. I gave him a chance to escape. You remember a couple days ago there was an instance in a C rank dungeon and it was a double dungeon. She nodded. Yes. 𝗕𝗄𝗧 mentioned a young man who was an E rank was the reason everyone who survived was able to. I doubt he survived though. Izuku chuckled. Well, he didn't. I am that E rank. The women raised an eyebrow. You are. He nodded. Izuku Midoriya, ma'am. I actually just got done with my first training session. Granted, calling it training is a very overestimate. 𝗬𝗓𝗋. And if 𝗕𝗄𝗧 is personally training you, I assume it was less training, more getting beat. They chuckled and he nodded. Yep. Defiantly have bruises. But some ice and I should be fine. They heard a voice come from the training room. Midoriya? You ready for round 2? That wasn't multiple rounds. Nope. Get on out here. 𝗬𝗧 smiled. Better get to it. See you later, 𝗬𝗓𝗋. You have fun. I doubt that is what I will have. 3 hours later, Izuku is now not just on the ground but has become one with it. Because that is where majority of where he has spent during round 2. 𝗬𝗧 smiled. I got to say. You did better that time. Even able to block a couple of my blows and even attempt to attack. But they didn't land. He helped Izuku up. You sure you want to stay with the sword? We do have a dagger teacher here and you do have more experience with them. Maybe. I'll think it over the next couple of days. Now if you excuse me, I plan on going home and taking an ice bath. And while doing that I will be cursing you. 𝗕𝗄𝗧 chuckled. Try if you can, kid. I am 22. And I am 46. You are a kid. Die. Nah, you wouldn't let me die. I am highly reconsidering my decision in the double dungeon. They both laughed at that and Izuku grabbed his stuff getting ready to leave, but someone tapped him on his shoulder. As he turned, it was Cha-hen. Hello again, Heian. Just call me Cha. It's easier that way. You okay? You took quite a beating. A beating is an understatement. Oh, I was the same when I first started. Do you have your phone on you? He nodded. Yeah. Could I see it? He nodded and handed it to her. Sure. She typed something in and began to hand it back to him. My number. Chio is a tough teacher. At least until you master what he is teaching. So if you do have free time, I can teach you in less of a violent way. At least you won't go home covered in bruises. Just for that last part, one will accept your offer. She chuckled and the phone began to ring. Who is in your phone as the biggest annoyance ever? Izuku smiled. My sister. Probably calling to say she is gonna be late from you. Again. Hanging out with friends and such. When Izuku took the phone back, the call already ended and a text followed saying exactly what he thought. Yep. Good for her for getting more friends. Welp, I got to go. See you later, Cha. See you later, Midoriya. Izuku then ran off to his house. 2 weeks have passed since the double dungeon. Izuku had been training hard almost every day. He did decide to switch to daggers, but he still occasionally trained with a sword. As he sat down after his run, he pulled up his quest menu and saw something. Wait. It counts my steps after I reach the threshold. He then did some push-ups to see if that also tracked, and it did. Let's see how far it goes. With my increased strength and agility, I should be able to finish these rather quickly. Hour passed and Izuku pulled up the quest menu. It turned into a secret quest because I doubled it. He then read the rewards, so I got the 3 normal skill points plus 10 additional ones. So 13 today. Wonder if I can do this every day. He then decided something. Help menu. A screen popped up and he said, Secret quest. It switched to a screen displaying secret quests. There were multiple, but they were all blank except one. He focused on it and read. This secret quest was obtained from doubling the workout from the daily quest. This will now be a weekly quest. It must be completed along with your daily quest. This is the only secret quest you can do again. So if I do that once a week, I go from gaining 21 skill points to 31 skill points a week, giving me about a 50% increase. I still need to pick a box. Between a blessed and cursed one. The blessed one for sure. As the box began to open, he spoke. Blessed ones typically give me serious stuff, but let's see. A key appeared and fell into his hand and an info screen popped up and he read it. An instance dungeon. The key will lead me to a location and I see a lock. Just use the key and unlock it. This key is a singular use and it is an E rank. I am defiantly much stronger, but will I be able to clear an E rank dungeon by myself? He opened up his inventory and noticed something, a blade. He read the info on it. It's Chuyul's blade. He left it behind in the double dungeon. Did it go to my inventory when I got whatever the system is? This would be a decent weapon. And since I know a bit more how to handle it, I will be fine. Well, let me get my stuff and go. He then packed a bag and left. Once he arrived at the location, he unlocked it with the key and crack appeared in the air. He then walked through and the entire environment changed, a different dimension. It seems like the same as the subway, but it has vegetation. Something then appeared in his hand, a teleportation stone. So I can use this if I need to get out of here. But if I do, I lose the ability to access this dungeon again. I'll keep it close. If this is like a normal gate, then there is a boss. I may not be able to beat it by myself. Stats: skill points gained, 52 available, 0 strength, 39 skill points into strength intellect, 10 agility, 20 skill points into agility perception, 14 skill points into perception vitality, 15 skill points into vitality. He equipped the sword and walked down the stairs, better now than never. Once he took the final step, multiple enemies appeared, goblins. One jumped to him with a slashing attack, but it seemed to be moving slower to Izuku. He used this opportunity to slash the goblin right in half. Then a message appeared, leveled up. So I level up only by killing enemies. Makes sense why I didn't when I completed those daily quests. Even the secret quest. Multiple more goblins approached, and he sliced them all down using his increased agility and able to dodge their attacks with his increased perception. Once he cleared them out, he saw his level increased 1 times. He also had 5 additional skill points to spend, so leveling up gives me 5 skill points per level. And each level increases all my stats by 1. Also, when I level up I am instantly healed. It doesn't look like it helps my fatigue though. I have to heal naturally for that to go down or wait. For now those skill points can wait. I don't know how strong the boss is and I don't want to waste them. Suddenly he heard footsteps and a wolf with a metal jaw appeared, 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗲 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗄. A bit on the nose with that name. And its name is red, meaning that is leagues above me. But is that only in terms of level or my stats? The 𝗕𝗂𝗁 jumped at him and he slashed at its open maw, but it closed down on the blade. Guess you're not called 𝗕𝗚𝗏𝗃𝗁 for nothing. But you are not taking this blade. He used all his strength to slice it in half from the mouth. Jesus. Okay, so maybe they only go based on level. Those goblins were white, so I guess white means relatively weak. Red means above my level by a decent chunk. But if this is like a video game, even if their name is red and I can kill them in on blow, they will still give a decent chunk of XP. It's like being level 1 but having the stats of a higher level. I guess I over-leveled my stats, so this dungeon should be a piece of cake. But the bosses in gates are always higher than what the gate reads. Most E rank gates have a low-level rank to a mid-level C rank boss. There have even been cases they can run into a B rank boss. With the proper strike team they can easily handle that. But I am alone. Even with my stat increases, could I handle a C rank boss by myself? Suddenly more 𝗕𝗂𝗁 appeared. Well, time to get busy. He started attacking. As long as I grow. He punched one. I have a duty. He sliced one's leg off. To grow. To protect everyone. After he finished off the last 𝗕𝗂𝗁 he sat down. Jesus. He then looked down at the damaged sword. This weapons is basically done. I leveled up 12 times during that. So I have a total of 65 points. He went to try and add points but it failed. Then a message popped up, only able to add skill points when in a safe zone. So I can only apply them after I leave the dungeon. Wonder if the same applies to gates. Another screen appeared. Title earned. Wolf Assassin. 40% increase in abilities when facing beast-type monsters. Nice. He then looked at the slain monsters and a drop screen appeared. Help menu. The help menu appeared. Can I pick up all the monster drops in a certain area? The help menu changed. You are able to pick up all the monster drops after you clear each room of a dungeon. Just say pick up monster drops and they will all appear in your inventory. Pick up monster drops. All the monster drops appeared in his inventory. Okay. So that makes it a lot easier. Do I have a shop? A shop appeared. Buy. Not at the required level. Level 20 required. DM it. Sell then. He then looked through his inventory. Only thing valuable here is the shitty goblin daggers and a cloak. But even then they are not good. The daggers are worse than the ones I typically buy at the magic weapon and armor shop. Sell inventory. He received 524 gold in response. I don't have a way to know if that is a lot or not. I am level 14 now. So if I level up 6 more times then I can access the shop. Maybe they sell special weapons and potions. He sat back up. Now I'ma head down to the next floor. As he got down to the last floor the floor shook. What the F? Were the train tracks where they were filled with water and a giant snake came out and smacked Izuku into a wall and shattered his sword, King of the Swamp, blue venom-fanged 𝗂𝗓𝗏. Kind of the swamp boss of the dungeon, huh? He looked at his sword. Even before it broke, no way this sword could have pierced those scales. And fist fighting is defiantly out. The snake lunged at him and Izuku dodged it and sliced with what was left of the blade. Its speed and how it moves. Getting through its defense is gonna be tricky. What can I do against armor this thick? The snake then swung the end of its body at him. Got a block. He raised his arms up and it slammed him into a wall. If I take a clean hit like that I am dead. 100%. A train car came at him and he dodged, even with the strength I gained. How much stronger do I have to be to escape my past of being a laughing stock? The snake attacked again and Izuku attempted to dodge, but the snake was far too long for him to dodge this attack and he was sent skidding across the pavement. I'm so weak I get a crappy nickname. I'm weak so no one believes in me. The snake began to charge again. I hate how worthless I am. I want strength. He was slammed into the ceiling. I swear it. I will get stronger even if it's the last thing I do. The snake lunged at him while he was falling, but he angled his body so it missed him narrowly. I'm not done yet. Images appeared in his mind of the double dungeon and the stone monster that could vaporize anyone with a single look. Compared to that thing. Compared to the terror I felt. This is nothing. He stabbed the sword into the spot in between its scales. Demon. Won't reach. The snake's head began to try and eat him, but he ran along its body until he reached just a couple yards under the head. I put almost all my ability points into strength. He gripped down on the scales under his hands and it began to crack. I will crack your armor and with the power I have. The snake started slamming through concrete pillars trying to get him off. With the power I have. I won't die. But you. The scales shattered and his hands pierced its flesh and blood began to come out of its body. You are dying. Here and now, you slithery little F. The snake began to slow until it dropped. Dungeon boss killed. Level increase x3. Izuku slumped up against the dead snake and chuckled. Even if it's just a little bit. Weakest hunter of all mankind just got stronger. You have defeated King of the Swamp, Blue Venom-Fanged 𝗂𝐭𝐲. He opened up the rewards and a dagger appeared in his hand. At least I got a nice prize. But the fact it's made out of the snake's fang worries me. It has double the attack power of Mr. Qiul's sword, plus paralysis and drain effects, and it's a C rank tier item. He looked at his other reward. 𝗂𝐭𝐲's venom gland. Poison. Drinking this will give me a buff and a debuff. 𝗂𝐭𝐲's armor scales. Physical damage minus 20%. Damaged muscle, strength minus 35%. Seems too risky. I'll keep in just in case. Boss is defeated. Dungeon will revert to its original state. The dungeon then changed. I am level 17 now. So I have 85 skill points available. Time to dive up. Old stat strength, 39 intellect, 10 agility, 20 perception, 14 vitality, 15 stats after level bonuses strength, 56 intellect, 27 agility, 37 perception, 31 vitality, 32 stats after 85 skill points strength, 100 intellect, 27 agility, 57 perception, 42 vitality, 42. So 44 points into strength, 20 into agility, 11 into perception, and 10 into vitality. Because I leveled up I am healed. My clothes are trashed but once I head home I can change. Time to leave. He then left to go home. One day later Izuku Midoriya just woke up for the morning and he saw his sister rushing out. Hey Izumi. A girl with long forest green with black highlights hair down to her shoulder blades turned around. Good morning bro. You sure slept in. He nodded. Yeah. I have a raid today so I needed some sleep. Izumi chuckled. Just don't get too injured. Hey, I will be fine. How is you? Treating you? Good. Met a lot of friends. But Bakugo is in my class. Izuku sighed. Jesus. The kid who picked on you when you both were kids. Yep. But I remember he stopped when my quirk kicked in and I picked him up off the ground. Yeah, you got a stronger version of our mom's quirk. 𝗵𝘃𝗁𝐻. Oh. Sorry to bring that up. Izuku shook his head. No, it's fine. I have accepted my quirklessness. And besides I am a hunter now. Yeah, a low D rank hunter. Why not get your hunter license updated? Do you know how expensive that is? And I still have to cover mom's medical bills before she got transferred to you. Then your tuition, then bills, then food. Updating my license isn't at the top of my list. Not to mention whenever I accept gates through the app the association automatically updated my rank when they tested me. So unless someone wants to be a PP about a piece of plastic they can always just call the association. Oh, also I wanted to say sorry about not being around too much. I feel like I owe it to you after everything you do. Don't worry about it. I do what I have to. Besides, you owe me. Owe you? You gotta pay me back for your tuition. She gasped. Says who? He chuckled. Me. She tackled him. Who said I had to do that? They laughed and pretended to punch each other. All right, you head to school. Will do. The door shut and Izuku saw something. 𝗓𝗵𝗵𝗏. He grabbed the item and went outside. He saw Izumi just right in front of the apartment and threw the umbrella. Catch? She turned her head and used her quirk to stop it mere inches from her face. Hey! That could have killed me. Yes. Local you. Student killed from umbrella. I would frame it. 𝐬𝐳𝐴. 𝐬𝐳𝐴. F you. We are not in Alabama. You are one sick F, you know that. They laughed and Izumi headed for school. Izuku then proceeded to do his daily workout and then left for his raid. New stats after the 3 skill points: strength, 100 intellect, 27 agility, 57 perception, 42 plus 3 is equal to 45 vitality, 42. Once he arrived, he met with the strike team leader Hwang Dong-suk. You must be Izuku Midoriya, right? He nodded. And you are Hwang Dong-suk, am I right? The black-haired man nodded. Yep. You said you were a low D rank on the call earlier and you are evaluated as 1. If I may ask why your hunter license says you're still in E rank? Money issues. Paying for family in the hospital and sister's tuition. And if I want my hunter license to list my actual rank, I have to get revaluated and pay for it. He chuckled. Oh, I bet. That SHT is not cheap. Well, since you are a D rank, we are going to cut you in for any monster drops and stuff like that. So everything is split 8 ways. But since you are the lowest ranking person here, do you mind being the porter? No problem. Done it before. Good. We will do our best to protect you, but since you are fighting, try not to bite off more than you can chew. Got it. You are mainly here for the head count. Since it's a C rank dungeon, we need at least 8 people and 4 at least need to be C rank. We already have 4 C ranks, and with you we have 3 mid-level D ranks and a low-level D rank. The bags are over there. Got food, extra gear, pickaxes, change of clothes, and even first aid kits. First aid? You don't have a healer. He chuckled a bit. I am sure you understand that most strike teams have a hard time keeping healers because they are constantly getting bounced around by taking higher paid gates. Makes sense. My normal strike team has a B rank healer, so I never thought of it like that. Dong-suk handed him a contract. Just sign here and we are ready to go. He read it over and signed. Got it. Suddenly a man dressed in expensive armor approached. Hello there, fellow temporary recruit. My name is 𝗔𝗂𝘗𝑗. I am a 22-year-old D rank hunter. And I signed up as a quota fill. Just like you. I see. He thought, a D rank with that gear. Is his family filthy F rich? 𝗔𝗂 smiled. This your first C rank raid ever. He smiled. Don't worry. I will be there to keep you safe. Everyone geared up and Dong-suk spoke. Let's head out. Midoriya, you got your weapon. He opened his jacket and there was the dagger he acquired from the instance dungeon he cleared. Right here. Once they got to the gate, one of the members spoke. Jesus. This gate is huge. Which makes me think this should be higher. Right, boss? Dong-suk nodded. The association measured it twice. And they are pretty thorough. 𝗔𝗂 spoke. Still. A gate with its own postal code makes it seem kinda bad. Izuku spoke. The size of the gate doesn't matter most of the time. The magic power is what matters. When he said they checked it, he means they measured it. They used the same process as when we get our magic power measured to get our ranks. But gates are classed differently. Every gate always has a higher magic power than a hunter of that same rank. For example, in this case, this C rank gate's magic power is higher than the C rank hunters here. Gates are measured with a different measuring device meant for gates. That's why you need multiple people. Even E rank gates can't be soloed by even the highest E rank because the magic power is still much higher. So I think we will be just fine. Besides, if it was a B rank or higher, we wouldn't even be allowed near the DMN thing. Larger guilds take on more dangerous dungeons because they have the manpower, skill, and higher rankers. 𝗔𝗂 nodded. That makes sense. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 also nodded. Even for a D rank he is right. You have been doing this for a while, 𝗕𝗵𝗲 Midoriya. Yes. Coming up on 6 years now. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 spoke. Get ready. We going in. Once they entered it was pitch black and 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 spoke. Hey little light. The mage cast an orb of light that followed them. A pitch black dungeon. Geez. Would really like some glow stones. They began to walk and 𝗔𝗂𝗧 spoke. Hey question. What do they mean by glow stones? Izuku spoke. Most dungeons have rocks on the walls, ceiling, and floor. They emit a faint light. It's common to find them in cave-like dungeons. Then why are there not any here? I don't know. Maybe a type of monster that doesn't like light. They arrived in a clearing and 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 spoke. Still nothing. Izuku closed his eyes and spoke to himself. Think. We are in a cave dungeon with no light. What enemies thrive in those conditions? It clicked. We are dealing with insect types. The team prepared. Insect types. No way. AF ant colony. Where are they coming from? Izuku looked up. Coming from above. Mage blast that hole with everything you got. On it. The mage cast a beam of light and the hole opened and the ants came flooding out. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 yelled, "Come get me." Suddenly all the ants headed towards him, a taunt skill. No wonder he is C rank. Everyone started killing and the mage yelled out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Everyone moved out of the way. Have a piece of this. He threw an orb of magic and it exploded. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿, very nice. Now finish it. Izuku thought while the team killed beasts. Nice chemistry. Obviously they have been working together for a long time. So, since they operate without a healer they are a little too aggressive. It seems they have the skill to make up for it but it doesn't feel right. Jinho's fancy gear makes up for his lack of skill. And the fact he knows he isn't as skilled so he keeps his guard up at all times and plays it safe only taking on one beast at a time. Izuku slashed a beast in half. Everyone is doing fine I guess. But something feels off. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿, that's the last one. Everyone gather the essence stones and divide the lot by 8. While the others gathered the stones 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿 approached Izuku. That was some call you made Midoriya. Those bugs about ambushed us. Glad to help. How were you able to tell they were attacking us from above? Well I have experience dealing with most lower level beasts. So once I deduced what type of beasts we were fighting I went down the list. And since we didn't see any proof of other insect types, I just figured the ants would all come out of one. And since I have been on death's door more than I can count I have learned to hone in on certain noises on instinct. Then your skill and instincts are very sharp. We'd be dead if they weren't. Cue on the mage that fired the magic attack earlier. Hey boss, get a load of this. Everyone walked over. The wounds on these bugs. None of our weapons made those. And they aren't burns from any magic either. I'm not sure what did this but they weren't just killed. These suckers were torn apart. Izuku, they probably had a turf battle with another type of magic beasts. Which means there is a more powerful creature than these guys crawling around in here somewhere. But what could be big enough to prey on these? 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿, Midoriya is right. Everyone keep your guard up. He nodded. Yeah, and make sure to watch your back. I get the sense we will need to. Something feels off about this. As since we stepped in here. 6 of the strike team members looked at each other but everyone nodded. As they were walking 𝗔𝗂𝗧 spoke. Hey Midoriya. You mentioned gates earlier and about the sizes. Since this place is so big but its ranking is fairly low does that mean it's vast but mostly empty? Sure does. Also question. How many types of magic stones are there? 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝐵. Well the main one is mana crystals which you get from mining them and essence stones which you get from monsters. Rune stones are also a thing but rarer and typically only comes from the boss. There have only been a few cases where they show up in C rank gates or lower. Most of them show up in B rank gates or higher. Why is that? Because rune stones are magic focused. C rank gates and below don't have a lot of beasts that use magic skills. And the ones that do are typically low-level magic. 𝗳𝗏𝗂𝐿's taunt skill is a fairly common ability. It's an ability that is very common among tank-type hunters especially. You know the 5 major guilds. Yeah. What about it? Everyone's single tank hunter in those has a taunt skill. That's how useful and common those are. They approached spider webs and Izuku spoke. Great spiders. Why did it have to be spiders? Jinho, what, you scared of them? No. It's the fact I keep having to kill spiders at home cause my sister is a pages. Like, just use your telekinesis to crush the DMN things. Like you're going to be a hero and you're scared of spiders. This caught the attention of the other 6 members of the strike team. Dong-suk spoke. So your sister is trying to be a hero, huh? Yeah. Has since she was a kid. Only got worse after my mom got in the hospital. DMN. What happened? Eternal slumber disease. She has had it for 5 years. It's expensive to keep up. I don't mean to sound like a PP, but why not just unplug her? Izuku sighed. I would have, but because of when it happened I couldn't. My dad was a A-rank hunter and was able to pay the medical bills easily. But then a month later when she fully went to sleep, my father had disappeared in a dungeon a week before. Wasn't able to get out before it closed. Then my mom went to sleep. And since I wasn't assigned to make her medical decisions because of my age, I couldn't. Granted, I don't think you would let an 18-year-old make medical decisions for you either. Well, anyways, Dad's money that he saved supported us for a bit, but the medical bills were so high it ate through it in only 4 months. And then I got my ranking and became a hunter, working my butt off to afford everything. DMN. Sounds rough. While they were talking, they approached the boss dungeon and one of the members yelled, "Jackpot! Look at all these mana crystals. They are just so appealing." Another member, "They aren't worth as much as essence stones, but this much. It has to be worth billions if not more." Another member, "You know, boss, I bet even your brother would be jealous of a find like this." Dude, why did you have to bring up the boss's brother? Dong-suk, Dong-su, what did I tell you? You don't always get to be the one who is right. Better not expect your big brother to bow down to you now. 'Cause this score is just the thing to make my strike team blow up. Izuku, seems like we have enough pickaxes for everyone. But no way will this bag hold all of this. Dong's, true. But first. He looked up and everyone's eyes followed, landing on the giant spider sleeping on the ceiling in a sort of cocoon with the bottom open. There is some company we should see too. Jinho, the dungeon boss. In case you didn't know, rookie, the gate will close when that thing dies. Mining and carrying out this truckload of crystals takes priority. Fortunately, it seems to be asleep, which gives us the perfect chance to excavate. So where is the gear? One of the members, I wasn't expecting there to be a treasure trove of mana crystals, so I thought the bags the porter had would be enough. I left all the transport tools back in my ride. Chuljin, don't I always say be prepared for anything? I'm really sorry. Guess it can't be helped now. Why don't you two stay here for a bit and protect our prize? We will go and get the transport equipment. Jinho, stay here. This is the boss lair. We have the lowest ranks. You will be just fine. That thing looks like it's sound asleep on a full stomach. I doubt anything could snap it awake unless you did it on purpose. Even so. He laughed. This is your first raid and you think you know better. Midoriya is in the same boat since it's his first C-rank dungeon. Have a little faith, will ya? Izuku, it may be my first C-rank dungeon, but my team would never do this. We would all go out, get the equipment, and come back. Not leave 2 people sitting here. You all have taken on C-rank dungeons before this one, so you all should know that. While he was talking, he thought, you need 8 members to take on a C-rank dungeon. They seem to have taken them on before. But their squad only consists of 6. So why not just have regular temps on call instead of hiring Jinho and me? The 6 members exited the boss dungeon. Dong-suk, now go ahead and seal off the entrance, Kyuon. He smirked, no problem. He then cast a spell and made the main exit cave in. Jinho, they just betrayed us. Izuku, is Jinho back up and find some place to hide now? Jinho grit his teeth. Those betas. They are really trying to kill us. All because they want more lousy mana crystals. Jinho, hide now. The boss began to wake. We have to hide. The boss got down and the ground shook. A C-rank boss. A basically E-rank hunter. This thing is on a whole other level. The spider growled, causing Jinho and Izuku to lose footing. Other level. No, I take that back. Izuku took the bags off and pulled out his dagger. Jinho, get somewhere safe. I'm gonna fight this thing. 𝐻𝗂. You mean like fight it? I mean this one's mine. Jinho, get serious. You would have to be at least a B rank that on your own. Or a high C rank. Which, if you need to be reminded, is basically 2 ranks above yours. The odds are like 0, bro. Let's focus our energy on escaping instead. He has a point. Even though I reawakened and leveled up a few times, I'm still pretty weak. The snake I fought in the instance dungeon was probably a middle D rank to low C rank. This thing is easily uglier than that thing. And probably stronger too. Midoriya gripped his dagger, and yet for some reason, the thought of fighting it doesn't scare me. I can stand my ground against a C rank boss. I'm strong enough for that. He smirked. I'm level 18 now. Taking on this thing is worth a shot. He dashed towards it and jumped on it, using its body to jump again while slashing. But his attacks didn't scratch it. He landed and looked back. They call us hunters for a reason. Now it's about time for the real hunt to begin. The spider began attack with its legs and he slashed at it. Damn, that's a tough shell. He looked at a crater from a previous attack, and it hits hard. A single strike could kill me. Midoriya then started aiming for the joints, but they also had a tough shell covering them. While Midoriya was fighting, Jinho stood there. The way he's moving, he can't possibly be E rank. He is 1 point into D rank. So what is he? D? Did he fake his ranking? It's not unheard of. Some hunters have exceptional magic control and make it so they are ranked lower when they register, which earns them the name false rankers. Most turn out to be lunatics. The kind of psychopaths who kill for fun. What am I even doing in this place? I'm so sorry. Midoriya slashed at one of the legs that was gonna hit him and adjusted the aim so it hit the floor and not him. He then jumped back. Demon. I still haven't done any actual damage. And with high fatigue, I'm about to get real slow real fast. I have to kill it before that happens. He looked at his dagger and a screen popped up. Paralysis and drain. The dagger's debuffs are my key to victory. I just need a weak spot to aim for. He looked at the spider and found his targets. Its eyes. Gotcha. He ran towards it, but it spit acid at him and he jumped back. Acid. Well, aren't you full of nasty surprises? Rock-solid armor and acidic spit that burns to the bone. And the longer I fight, the worse off I'll be. I have to get up close, regardless of the risk. A menu popped up. The skill I got when I hit level 18. Time to take it for a spin. He used the skill and ran under the beast at insane speeds, jumped to the ceiling, and used the ceiling to launch himself towards the spider. The dagger hit the spider, but shortly after the debuff was applied it went away. Damn it. If one hit isn't enough, I will just have to stab it over and over. He landed and continued to use the dash skill, landed hit after hit. But he was starting to slow down. His fatigue debuff was too high. Anything past 65 will begin to slow him down an immense amount. The spider swung one of his legs at Midoriya, but he was too slow and got hit, sending him into a mountain of mana crystals. He grunted and attempted to get up, but before he could, the spider slammed another one of its legs down on him. While the spider was reeling the leg back for another slam, Midoriya remembered his daily quest rewards, status recovery. He was healed and his fatigue went down to 0. Once that happened, he used the dash skill to leap onto the spider's face. Now 𝗓𝗔𝗵𝗲. He then stabbed the spider in one of its eyes. When he did, he saw the debuffs from his dagger was applied, over and over. Apply the next one before the old can leave. Over and over he stabbed the spider in its eyes. The paralysis from the dagger keeping it still, and the drain effect like a poison making it die faster with the damage from the dagger. Almost 50 stabs later, the boss was killed. The spider fell and Midoriya put the dagger back into his inventory. He then reached behind the spider's neck and grabbed the essence stone. This alone made it worth it. And I leveled up 3 times to level 21. Got 15 skill points to add. Jinho, he actually killed the boss by himself. There's no doubt. He is a false ranker. He walked up to Midoriya. Pardon me. Would you like me to carry your essence stones for you, sir? He handed Midoriya a water. You must be thirsty, sir, have a water. When Midoriya took the water, Jinho had grabbed a pickaxe and started mining the mana crystals. All the equipment was in those bags, those jerks. I guess I'll mine the mana crystals before we leave. Midoriya took a drink of water. What the F is up with him? Midoriya decided to look at his stats since he leveled up 3 times. Level 21 job, none title, Wolf Assassin. All abilities gain a 40% buff when fighting animal-type monsters. Strength 103 intellect, 30 agility, 60 perception, 48 vitality, 45 available ability points, 13 So I leveled up 3 times and my skills went up 3. But shouldn't I have 15 available points to spend, not 13? A screen popped up. After you hit level 20 you will now receive 3 ability points on level increase instead of 5. Okay then. Well, my strength is good for now. I guess put all of them into vitality. Vitality, 45 plus 13 is equal to 58. That's fine. My health increased a great bit too. Suddenly the exit blasted open and the 6 other members entered. Midoriya pulled his dagger out of his inventory quickly. When they entered, Dong-suk had a confused look. These guys are still alive. And you guys killed the boss. The members, what happened? Did they kill the boss all by themselves? Q1, maybe that demon spider was just big in size and had no real powers. Dong-suk looked at Jinho. Well, I guess with armor like that even a mid-D rank could kill a C rank boss. The boss must have been lame if a D rank and a basically E rank hunter could beat it. You Jinho. I underestimated him. There's no way an E rank was any help. Jinho must have defeated the boss all on his own. His armor may have special abilities, so things could get tricky if we make an enemy of him. One of the members, Dong-suk, what should we do now? We have to make him our ally, of course. You Jinho. I did a bit of research, cause of your fancy armor. Turns out you're the son of Eugene Construction's chairman, Yu Myung-han. He's your father, right? Jinho gulped. Why, so? Didn't think you'd actually be the kid of some rich business tycoon. There's something I'd like to discuss with your father. We'll give you a chance to live if you, Jinho's body shivered. Kill Izuku Midoriya? What? Kill Izuku Midoriya and become our accomplice. That's the only way you make it out of here alive. His crew drew their weapons. If you don't, we will kill the both of you. Dong-suk glared at him. What are you waiting for? Nobody ever finds out what happens down here in dungeons anyway. Or could it be that a D rank is scared of an E rank? Jinho looked back at Midoriya. It's okay. Of course you would betray me. I'm weak. Jinho grit his teeth, grabbed his shield and sword, and got in front of Midoriya. Dong-suk tilted his head. What are you doing? You're gonna take his side and fight against us. Q1, boss, what should we do? It'd be a waste to kill the son of a wealthy family. Let's get rid of the weakling first. Dong-suk smirked and began to give off murderous intent. Have you, he drew his sword, ever killed someone before? Jinho was nervous, but he readied his sword. Then a screen popped up in front of Midoriya. Urgent quest, defeat the enemies. There are enemies nearby that intend to kill the player. Destroy all the foes and ensure your safety. If you fail to follow these orders, you will be given a penalty. Number of foes to defeat, 6. Numbers of foes defeated, 0. What is this? The system is acting out. Midoriya was hit with a magic attack while he was reading the screens. The explosion sent him into the mana crystals and Jinho yelled, Midoriya. Dong-suk smirked, You Jinho. Stop worrying about a guy that's as good as dead. Come with us. Why, you murderers? Izuku's eyes slowly rolled back from being inside his skull. How could I have forgotten its survival of the fittest in this world? This world filled with violence, deception, and betrayal. He stared at the urgent quest box. How could I? He took a breath. That's right. I got numb to it. Careless, overconfident, delusional. And now the system expects me to murder my enemies. Does it need to keep me alive for some purpose? This isn't convenience or charity. The system wants me to live. It needs me to live. Midoriya raised up with the rocks that were on top of him falling off. 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏. He then stood up. It wants me strong. Jinho breathed out a sigh of relief. Gosh, you sure know how to take a hit, don't you? One of the members, I hit. The dude took a death blow. Midoriya, I think I get it now. He then began slowly walking forward. If the system is bent of using me, then I will just use the system. Q-on, you idiot. You shouldn't have held back. Every one of the 6 members laughed but him. The thing is, I didn't. Thanks for the reminder. Midoriya passed Jinho. The weak always lose. No matter what. That's the way it is. The member from earlier that mentioned a death blow. Somebody get this guy a medal. The weakest hunter of all mankind understand. I do. Your crew must understand how it works too if you're saying that. A black aura began to seep off Midoriya. You hunt and hunt. Always the hunter, never the hunted. He lifted his head and gave all 6 of them a death glare. So now I want to know if the hunters are ready to be preyed upon. One of the members stepped forward. Hey boss, I am gonna handle this one. He wrapped an arm around Midoriya. Okay, listen up pal. You need a reality check. Are we ready to be preyed upon? And just what can a D rank who only made it into that rank by 1 point even do? Once an E rank, always an E rank. Once the weakest hunter, always the weakest hunter. Midoriya quickly put the dagger up to his neck and cut his head off. Everyone gasped and Midoriya's screen changed from 0/6 to 1/6. That's 1 down. When did he draw that dagger? Where was he even hiding it? 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏. Arrogance aside, Junte was stronger than him. How could an E rank kill a D rank? Midoriya, I just killed somebody. A person. Even if I say the system made me do it. Their BLD is still on my hands. I still ended a man's life today. But it's either their lives or mine. So I can't back down now. He gripped his dagger tighter, because it's only the strong who survive. The 5 remaining members jumped back and took positions. 2 of them got behind Midoriya to attack while another one shot at him with a crossbow-like gun. Midoriya deflected the bullets and disappeared out of the way of one of the members' sneak attack with a sword. He then reappeared behind him, stabbing him in the back of the neck and shoving it through to where the dagger was also out on the other side. A member with 2 daggers rushed him, but he grabbed his hands, angled them away, stabbed him, and sliced his gut open, making his guts spill out while he bleeds out. The member with a crossbow gun, what kind of E rank moves like that? 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏. On it. He prepared a magic blast, pouring all of his mana into it. While he did that, the member with a crossbow aimed, but before he could fire, Midoriya was behind him and slashed across his back and spine. Q-on held up his hand with the spell forming fast, die. The spell got close, but Midoriya dodged it and in the next second was in front of Q-on and sliced his hands off and then cut his throat. 5-6, 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏. You killed all 5 of my men within seconds? Bet you also took out the spider, huh? You kept your true rank hidden from us. 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏 prepared for an attack, though I'm C rank like they were. Mana poured off of him. My reinforcement skill sets me apart from them. The skill kicked in. He's a monster in his own right. But after fighting a boss and 5 hunters, he has to be tired. His speed and his dagger's special abilities are what give him an edge. But my reinforcement skill makes my body as strong as steel. His dagger won't even cut me. 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏 charged and swung his sword, but Midoriya was gone. The next second, Midoriya's palm covered his face. Mr. Huang. You're impressive. But I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. Midoriya grabbed 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏's face and slammed him into the ground, causing a crater. You see, I've been leveling up this whole time. 𝗳𝗏𝗧𝗏 spit up and attempted to refill his lungs with oxygen. What just happened? He just smashed me into the ground with one hand. He lied. 'Cause no way in hell is he a D rank. He raised his hand. Wait. Even a monster like you has to have a heart. So show me some mercy and spare me. You can take every mana crystal and essence stones we have gathered. In fact, I'll even pay you on top of that. Name any price you want to spare my life and I swear I'll double it no matter what. 3 times. 𝐒𝐻. You tried to kill me 3 times, didn't you? And now you want mercy? Why yes, but for yourself. You will never get away with it if you kill me here. My younger brother will hunt your entire family down and kill them. Your mom and sister included. Oh, that pissed him right the F off. What happens in a dungeon stays in a dungeon. Dong-suk was terrified. If you had any idea who my younger brother is. Midoriya stabbed him in the heart. And while his life slipped away, Midoriya spoke. Tell your brother that if he tries to come after the people I care about, he will be meeting you very soon. He then sliced his head off. When he did, Jinho uncovered his mouth and puked. The dungeon then began to shake. With the boss dead, the gates closing. Jinho, we have to go. Midoriya grabbed the 4 bags filled with mana crystals and ran towards the exit with Jinho behind. 1 hour later, a Hunter Association girl was in front of Midoriya and Jinho looking at a clipboard. So all 4 C-rank hunters plus 2 D-rank hunters died in action, and the only survivors were a D-rank on his first raid and some rando E-rank. Jinho, I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. The girl adjusted her glasses. I believe you. Oh, dude. Your blade, it's the Maya Company's Cal Ion longsword. It only just hit the shelves. Why, that's quite an eye you have. Midoriya looked down at his quest reward screen. 1. Full recovery. 2. Ability points plus 10". 3. Skill, murderous intent. Rewards for killing people. The murderous intent skill. He reads the info. Cost 100 mana points. Cuts enemy abilities by 50% for a minute. The girl, yeah, of course you would live if you had so much awesome equipment. She pointed at Jinho. You must have been the hero of this tragic tale. Then she pointed at Midoriya. While this E-rank hid and let you handle everything by yourself. Midoriya groaned. First off, D-rank. I may only be in D-rank by 1 point, but still. Second off, isn't your entire job to treat every hunter with respect? Not be an entire CNT about it. She grit her teeth and the blonde-haired man that gave Midoriya his re-examination came over, but he didn't seem to notice Midoriya. We are done for now, gentlemen. Thank you for your cooperation after going through such a disaster. You are free to leave now. They walked around the corner and Jinho sighed nervously. That was some excellent work today, boss. Thanks. It suddenly began to rain and Midoriya put his hand out. Jinho tilted his head. Boss, is everything okay? Yeah. I was just I am glad I gave Izumi that umbrella. Midoriya then left for home and made a couple stops on the way. Once he was done, he opened the door, set everything down, shut the door, and sat down to untie his shoes. I'm home. Izumi began walking towards the door that separated the washroom, which was where Izuku was, to the rest of the house. Hey, you're back. She then opened it. You got fried chicken. What's the occasion? Something must have happened. Izuku stood up. Could be good or bad. I'm not really sure yet. He held up the bag of food and Izumi took it. Let's just say I got our bills covered for now. Including Mom's. He then left to enter the living room. Izumi smirked. Yeah, that's not weird at all coming from a cheapskate like you. Izuku threw a shoe at Izumi's head and it hit. Hey. The F. For being a hero in training, your reaction time sucks pages. Also call me a cheapskate again and you will be the one having to cover your tuition. After Izuku finished eating, Izumi looked up from eating her 3rd chicken sandwich. Wait, I forgot to ask. How did your raid go? What do you mean? Well, clearly it paid well enough. And you didn't end up in the hospital this time. So your party was super strong, right? I guess you could say that. She chuckled. I bet you beat the bad guys easily. Izuku cracked open a beer. I really did. Everything about that moment was easy. He began thinking back on all the attacks he did that killed the 6. When the time came, I didn't hesitate for a second. If anything, I resented them for thinking they were even close to my league. He took a sip. The old me would have tried to find a way out no matter what. Has leveling up also made me braver? But those weren't magic beasts. He swallowed. They were humans. And even then I didn't hesitate. Izumi, hey, is everything all right with you over there? 𝐒𝐻. It was just thinking. Nothing to worry about. Alrighty. Oh, how was school? Bakugo almost killed me by using some support gear. He sighed. If he does that again, tell your teacher I will be coming down there myself and they won't like the outcome. Alrighty bro, Izuku uncrossed his legs. Screw it. The only thing that matters is me getting stronger so I can stay alive and help my family. He took another sip. Whoever tries to stop me will be just as dead. A screen popped up. A harmful substance has been detected. 3, 2, 1. Debuff gone. A harmful substance. Detoxing. He took another sip and the screen popped up again. Alright, I'm finished. Oh. Well, if you're really done, you mind if I eat the rest? Sure, but don't cry to me when you put on weight. I will kill you. You can't kill a spider. He pulled out his phone and showed her an image of the giant spider corpse. That was the boss today. The second she saw that, all color drained from her face. Gates are hell on earth. I will never enter a gate. Izuku laughed while he picked up the case of beer and went to his room. Izuku kept drinking. I'm not even buzzed. A buff from the system must be killing the affects from the alcohol. Like a status effect maybe. A screen popped up saying, Quest rewards with a secret quest, Courage of the Weak. I guess I have a blessing called Health and Longevity. It disables to toxic and abnormal conditions. Improved regenerative capacity. He leaned back. That's right. My reward for the double dungeon. So much has happened in just a couple weeks I never checked it out. I guess that explains why my right arm and leg came back. He took a breath. So much I don't know. He then laid down, but Izumi opened the door. Hey bro, you got a call from someone called Jinho. Izuku met up with Jinho at a cafe a day later. I know this is out of the blue, so thanks for meeting me. To be honest, you surprised me. I thought you would be as far away as you could get from me. Well, to be honest, I thought that at first, but I changed my mind. I'd be a dead man if it weren't for you, boss. Yeah, well, giving me your share of essence stones helped me out too. And you've kept quiet. So I consider us pretty much square. Of course. I mean, why would I blab? I know you only did that in self-defense. It was either them or us. And I prefer us. Midoriya chuckled. Same here. Anyway, what's up? I'd really like to put a strike team together and thought you would want to join. That's a hard pass. Why you're gonna decline with hearing any details? I am not interested in humoring this. Jinho stood up and slammed his hands on the table. Just 20 raids. No 19 raids. 19 more is all I ask. Midoriya raised an eyebrow. 20 in total. The one we cleared plus the 19 more you need. You trying to be a guild MSTR? He nodded. Exactly. So hear me out, boss. Please. He sighed and took a sip from his coffee. Continue. I assume you know the steps to become a guild MSTR since you caught on so quickly. He nodded. You need at least 20 raids worth of experience. And at least half of them must be C rank or high D rank. I am assuming you haven't done any more since the one we did yesterday. Jinho nodded. That's right. There is a written test too, but I have studied my whole life to inherit 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲, so I know I'll ace that too. It's just the raids is an issue. Aren't you the second son of 𝐒𝐭𝐚 Construction 𝐂𝐻? He nodded. Believe it or not, this is all related to the company. My father is in the process of forming a guild. For a construction company. Yes. As dangerous as dungeons are, the stuff inside them are worth the risk. Essence stones and mana crystals are the most common. The remains of higher-ranked beasts can be used for weapons, armor, and any number of things. If it's found in a dungeon, more than likely it's worth something. Makes sense why your dad wants to make a guild. Jinho nodded. Yeah. So basically you want a group of hunters that your family's company goes around clearing gates and your company cashes in. For the most part, yes. I have a feeling my dad has some other reason for doing this, but he hasn't mentioned it. But yeah, for now my dad wants to run the guild like a business. He wants to hire an S-rank hunter to be the leader so they don't have to take the written test. And then my brother will be the vice president. And S-rank. There are 7 in the whole country. And Japan has only ever produced 9 S-rank hunters. One of them died on the last Jeju Island raid, one moved to America, one retired, One is the chairman of the Hunter Association here in Japan, 4 of them run their own guilds, and the other is the vice president of one of those guilds. Jinho nodded. Yeah. As you mentioned, the only one not affiliated with a guild is 𝗵𝗃 the S-rank healer, but he retired already and according to my dad has been ignoring his calls. Wait, so your dad is planning on poaching one of them? Well, that's what he wants. Tell him he will need to rethink that plan. You may gain a leader, but you will also make enemies. Anytime you need help from other guilds, they will know that you poached an S-rank hunter and will be less likely to help you. And in a hunter's world, we need all the help we can get. Yeah, but since my brother hasn't awakened, he is out of the running completely. So you want to rack up enough experience to be qualified and change your father's mind. Yes, that's the goal. So help yourself by helping me. You want to raid while hiding your power, and I want to raid with hunters who are lower ranked. If I can succeed with an E rank as opposed to an S rank, my dad would be much more convinced. Jinho stared at Midoriya. Boss has to be at least a low B rank. No, maybe a low A rank. Picking the wrong person for this could get me killed. But if it's him, Jinho reached into his bag and put a folder on the table. Take a look. He opened it and it was paperwork and images about a building. That building was going to be the HQ for the guild. It's currently appraised for 30 billion and will keep going up. 19 successful raids from now and it's all yours. 19 C-rank raids for 30 billion. If this was a month ago, I would have jumped at an offer like this. But now I am the sole person who can level up and that changes things. If I keep increasing my stats, I could even reach S rank. Or maybe even be a national level hunter. 30 billion is honestly chump change with that in mind. Not to mention I'm still not sure how leveling up will affect me. So I really don't like the idea of working with someone else. It's just too risky. But he is doing me a favor by keeping my secret. Fine, I will help you. Really? Yeah. Raiding C-rank dungeons will benefit me, so I'm in. Yes. That's if you agree to my one condition. Sure. What is it? No strike team. Only me and you go in. I don't want the public figuring out my true strength for a reason. Not a fan of the publicity. We can't do it. Every C-rank gate requires a minimum of 8 hunters to even enter the gate. We will take a page out of Dong Seok-hwang's book. We will hire 6 people to meet the quota while we do the work. Only thing they would have to do is be there. I don't know. Think of it like this. Fewer people going in means less chance of people getting injured or dying. And you know me and you can come out unscathed. Not to mention clearing 19 dungeons accidents-free is huge. No matter what rank. But 19 C-rank dungeons. Since you're doing this to persuade your father, if a triumph like that doesn't help, then I don't know what will. You're right, it certainly wouldn't hurt. Jinho stood up. Boss, let's do it. 19 raids. I will handle arranging the gates and recruits. Midoriya stood up and they shook hands. While they did, Midoriya's phone buzzed. He pulled it out and read the message. Gonna go, Jinho. Meeting up with a friend. Text me once you got everything settled out. He then ran towards his location. 30 minutes later, he arrived at a competitive running track. Then he saw who he was meeting. Heian-cha turned her head. Hey, Midoriya. She stood up from a bench and met Midoriya halfway, who was currently breathing very heavily. Well, at least faking it. Fuck. She chuckled and handed him a bottle of water. I figured you would run here. So I packed some extra water bottles. He opened it. Thank you so much. He then chugged it down in seconds flat. I feel better. You got a change of clothes. I rented out a locker here since this is where you said you train the most at. And since you're doing me a favor, I am not gonna ask you to change where you train. If you will just let me change, I can be right out. No problem. He then went and changed into training/workout clothes. He was out in 2 minutes and he had also grabbed 2 wooden daggers that he got from a previous training session. Once he went outside, he saw Cha talking to a man with red hair and glasses. He immediately recognized him and focused on suppressing his mana. Once he did so enough, he approached. Hey Cha, you ready? She turned around. Yeah, one moment. Choi Jong-in, the leader of the Hunters Guild and S-rank fire mage, spoke. I was just curious on why the other members of the guild couldn't also be here training. Because I promised Midoriya I would help train him solo for a while until he can keep up. He has been raiding for years but he has no skill. He just swings his weapon wherever the enemy is. My 𝗵𝗲 would have died if Midoriya didn't sacrifice himself so the others could leave. Midoriya. Midoriya. I swear that name is familiar. The double dungeon incident that 𝐒𝐽𝐫, the leader of the White Tiger Guild and his raid team went into to try and save the remaining member. Aka Midoriya. Oh yes. Beck did mention him. But all the reports said that Midoriya had lost his right arm and leg. I thought the White Tiger Guild had a healer with them. No. There was one coming but it was just 4 people who got there first. And according to Beck, Midoriya was perfectly fine. Not so much as a scratch on him. Yeah, his clothes were torn to hell and were soaked in his BLD but not a scratch. You think it's possible he had a second awakening? The association already tested him right after that. He is 1 point into being a D rank. So, regrowing limbs is something only high B rank healers and above can do. And if you want to regrow your own limbs, well, only healers I know that can do that are high A rank or S rank. True. But Midoriya hasn't emitted off enough mana to be anything higher than D rank. At least from what I have noticed. He shook his head. Same. But anyway, remember we have a raid later today. We are both teaching some newcomers. Got it? 2 hours, remember that. Got it? I got my gear in my car and I will change before I leave. Is driving in armor even comfortable? In some sets, yes. But in those I just change once I get to the raid location. But in majority of my armor sets it's not metal unless you count the things I can take on and off. Sounds practical, I guess. Well, I will see you off. Chan nodded and her and Midoriya started training. It mainly consisted of teaching Midoriya how to block and not just dodge. Dodging is good but you can't just always dodge. If you block it makes it easier for you to launch a counterattack. It goes from hardest to launch a counterattack to easiest. Dodging, blocking and parrying. He wiped some sweat from his brow. I know. Just used to dodging, you know. I know. When any magic beast could kill you it makes sense why you would want to dodge. But for now remember that we are equals. So blocking and parrying can be done. Just remember that. Got it? Ready for round 2. She prepared her wooden sword. Let's go. A while later Midoriya was now on a bench holding his ribs. The F ribs again. I swear, what is up with you and Chiyo? It's always the ribs. She chuckled and wiped a strand of hair out of her face. Well, best to knock the air out of someone's lungs. Yeah, but you both do one thing. What? It's training. And you don't let me get air back in. She started full-blown laughing and Midoriya did too. I'm sorry. Next time I promise to knock the air of only one of your lungs. Why does that sound worse? Because it is way worse. Imagine trying to get air to only one side of your body. 6. Midoriya refilled his lungs from laughing as did Cha. Oh, I haven't had a good laugh like that in a while. Cha wiped some tears she got from laughing away. Oh, same. Izuku perked up suddenly and Cha raised an eyebrow. You're okay? We are being watched. Have been for a little bit now. Is that what that weird feeling was? He must not be awakened. Midoriya stood up. We know you're there. Come on out. A man walked out from around the corner. I expected 𝐻 to notice me first since she is an S rank. But you noticed me first. I got used to noticing when people are staring at me. Call it a skill I picked up. So what are you doing here? The man walked in front of 𝐻 and pulled a card out. I was waiting for the right moment to approach you, but since your friend noticed me first before you did, I guess I am out. Cha looked at the card and it said Eugene Construction. Midoriya. I did a raid yesterday with the CEO's son. Jinho. The man raised an eyebrow. You do, huh? Yeah. Light brown hair. About my height. Wore expensive white and gold armor, had an expensive sword, and a red and gold shield. Sound right? I guess you do know him. Now if you excuse me, I have some business to discuss with 𝐻. She stood up. And what business could a construction company have with a hunter? An S rank no less. Midoriya, they are wanting to poach you from the Hunters Guild so you can be the guild 𝗵𝗲 of the Eugene Guild once they make it. They would also make the CEO's firstborn the vice president. She turned her head. Is this true? Why, yes it is. Granted, I have no clue how a lowly E-rank would know about that. Call me an E-rank again and I cut it off. Cha, I do not want to do business with someone who treats people like that, no matter their rank or if they even awakened. She looked over at Midoriya. There is still time before my raid, so I am going to go to the hunter's building and shower there. Prefer the showers there than here. He chuckled. I get ya. Well, see you soon. Cha grabbed her things and left. Midoriya showered, changed, and left the bathrooms, but he noticed something. A sword in its sheath leaning up against a locker. He picked it up and noticed it. When he did, he chuckled. She forgot her weapon. Well, I passed by the hunter's building on the way home anyway. He grabbed his stuff and her sword then went off. 30 minutes later, when he arrived, he entered. The secretary. Hello, sir. How may I help you? Yes, I was doing some training with my friend Ch, and she left her sword there by accident. He held up said sword, which was still in its sheath, and I was wondering if I could give it to her. No problem. Let me give her a ring. A moment later, she said she will be down in a bit, and she asked me to thank you for bringing it. She got a bit forgetful. He chuckled. It's fine. I can't even count the amount of times I forget something before I go into a raid. Typically small stuff, but still. The secretary chuckled. Don't tell her I told you this, but she often gets her sword mixed up with her wooden one. Her fault for making it a 1:1 replica and making it have a sheath too. Oh, I know. She accidentally used her real sword at first during training. When did she realize it was the real one? He showed his left sleeve, which had a cut in it. That. She didn't injure you, did she? We have healers that can't patch you up. He is fine. Cha came down the stairs in her armor. Geez, almost cut one guy's arm off one time. I have a feeling this isn't the first time. Oh, shush you. He held out her sword. Here you are, my lady. She chuckled and had a smile. Well, thank you very much, Sir Knight. If you're relying on a D-rank to keep you safe, what are you thinking? They laughed again. Well, I have to be heading out. You get home safe, okay? He waved goodbye. No problem. And you know me. I am always safe. Oh, don't pull that. He then walked outside the Hunter Guild, and while he was walking, he accepted a blessed loot box from his daily quest. An instance dungeon key fell into his hand, and Midoriya looked shocked when he looked at the difficulty, S rank. Midoriya was sitting outside the place the key needed to be, which was outside the Hunter's building, which was located in the city of Seoul at night. He opened his stat screen. Level 21 health, 12,100. After the 100 he started with, it seems that his health goes up by 250 points every point. Mana 3,010. After the 10 he started with, it seems that his stats go up by 150 every point. Job, none. Title, Wolf Assassin. All abilities gain a 40% buff when fighting animal type monsters. Strength, 103 intellect, 30 agility, 60 perception, 48 vitality, 58 available ability points, 13, so I got 10 points from the urgent quest yesterday plus the 3 from the daily quest. This is a S rank instance dungeon, so it should be on about the same level as Jeju Island. The raid that even after 3 tries and countless lives lost was never cleared. If I were to give myself a guess, I would say I am somewhere in the tier of B rank or a low A rank. Do I even have a chance against beasts of that level? He looked at the key info. The Demon Castle's key, S rank, a key to enter the dungeon, the Demon's Castle. In the Demon King's Castle, you can obtain the ingredients for the Elixir of Life, which cures all illnesses with powerful magic. But I have no choice. If there is even the chance this can wake Mom up, I have to try. Let me invest the rest of my points. He put all of his points into agility. Agility, 60 plus 13 is equal to 73. He held up the key and a door opened. I have the teleportation stone from the previous instance dungeon. But I am still scared. A massive door was summoned, and as it opened he walked through. When he did, it looked like he was still in Osaka. But everything was destroyed and on fire. He pulled his dagger out. Let's get this done. As he was walking, he looked up and a beast landed in front of him. A giant 3-headed dog about the size of the spider he killed. Midoriya looked at his name and froze a bit. Its name was in red. Hell's gatekeeper Cerberus. He jumped back. Oh F me. He readied his dagger. I refuse to die in a place like this. He used his dash skill to get under the beast and slash its back right leg's tendon. But it barely even went past the skin. He then started jumped and dashing around, slashing everywhere he could, and he jumped into the air. I've hardly damaged it. Even when the buff from the Wolf Assassin title, I can't cut deep enough. If I can't cut deep enough, the dagger's debuffs don't take effect. And I bet this guy would shrug it off right after it's applied. He used his new skill Murderous Intent to try and cut the beast's power in half. But when it hit the beast, he roared and the skill didn't take effect. No dice, huh? The left head lunged at him while he was in the air. He grabbed onto its tooth and swung himself on its neck. He then ran down its neck and jumped onto the middle head right under its eyes. While he was falling, he prepared his dagger and stabbed as deep as he could. Get paralyzed. The debuffs took effect. But the next second they were gone and the beast threw Izuku off. Izuku jumped back once he was on the ground, but the beast was right there and bit into his left arm. He screamed and his health dropped to 6,234. The beast then slammed Izuku down and started slamming him further into the ground with one of his paws. But every hit his health dropped lower and lower. When the beast was preparing to slam his paw down again, Izuku rolled out of the way and got onto his feet. Then he had a screen pop up. Cerberus has used skill, Rage all abilities plus 100% for 3 minutes. Izuku jumped back even further. It doubled its stats. The beast lunged at him again, too fast. The hit connected and he was sent flying into a building. He looked at his health and he only had 3,250 HP left. Only one choice. Full recovery now. Once he was healed of his injuries and his fatigue, he jumped back and kept jumping back to get a safe distance so he could think, "Damn, full recovery heals my injuries, debuffs, and fatigue, but it doesn't heal me." Another screen popped up. Willpower LVL, 1 HP, 30% or less buff. Damage is negated 50%. The system is doing everything it can to keep me from dying. Because it needs the player to live. And I'm the player. You don't have to be a genius to tell this is not a normal reawakening. That rage status will go away in 3 minutes. Too risky to chance my luck. He pulled out the teleportation stone. Might be time to. Right when he did, the building he was on crumbled as Cerberus slammed into it. Midoriya dropped the stone and landed behind a destroyed wall. Wait. Once I hit level 20 I got access to the store. The store opened and he saw a health potion, 100 gold, and I got 1,100. Buy 3. He drank them. DMN. Each one only heals me up 250 HP remaining. Not enough. Then his screen changed to an item he got at his first instance dungeon. Ksaka's Venom Gland A rank poison. Ksaka's armor scales. Physical damage increase 20%, damaged muscle. Strength decrease 35%, poison. He thought back on when he drank beer and he never got even buzzed thanks to a buff from the system that cured all toxins. I have to try. If it cured beer, then it can cure an actual poison. He got the item from his inventory and drank it. When he did, he felt his muscles go weak, but 3 seconds later he was back to normal with the buff. Here I go. Cerberus heard him and jumped towards him, causing the ground to shake. He slashed across Izuku's chest, but he grit his teeth. Not yet. He landed on his feet. I'm still in this, you three-headed F. The aura around Cerberus disappeared. The rage effect wore off. Now's my chance. He dashed forwards and slashed all 4 of its legs, cutting as deep and as long as he could on every slice. Cerberus slammed its left head down to try and hit him, but Izuku slammed the dagger into its neck and cut the entire way up. As he was about to do the same to another, it jumped back, and while Izuku was in the air, the right head attempted to eat him. Izuku put his feet on the bottom jaw and his hands on the top to keep him from closing its mouth. Hell no. He used all his strength to open the jaw enough, so he jumped out and cut the right head's eyes out. The middle head growled and bit down on him. Its teeth impaled him above his weight. Not yet. He gripped his dagger with all the strength he could muster and stabbed the beast in its left eye over and over again. Cerberus attempted to throw him off by slamming him into building, but he kept going. Not yet. I refuse to die here. He kept stabbing. screaming at the top of his lungs, stabbing his dagger deep with every strike than the last. Die, you overgrown mutt. He stabbed it once again and the eye burst open and its jaw opened, sending Izuku flying back. That was the blow that killed it. Once it was killed, he leveled up 5 times and was fully healed. He sat up. Damn it. Let's see what it dropped. 3 things dropped, but only one Midoriya paid attention to. Another key. Castle door. This key unlocks the door to the demon's castle. You can acquire this only when you kill the gatekeeper. Bet it's for the gate Cerberus was guarding. Another item popped up on screen, but it was all question marks. He grabbed it out of his inventory and he smiled. The crafting recipe for the elixir of life. It says I need 3 items. And I can find all 3 in the demon's castle. He stood up. That fight helped me gauge my limits. If I go into that castle the way I am now, it will either be a struggle the entire way up or I will die. So I will get stronger and come back. Count on it. He then left the dungeon and went home. Once he finished showering and changing, he heard a knock at his door. He opened it. Who the F is here? When he saw the person, he froze for a moment. Oh, fit it. She gave him a smile. Hey Midoriya. Could I ask a favor? Sure. What is it? Well, my car broke down a street over. A tow truck won't be able to be here until morning. I was able to get into the parking lot here. And it's a 2-hour walk home, so I was wondering if I could crash here for the night. Yeah, no problem. I will get my room ready for ya. Your room? Shouldn't I sleep on the couch? No. Why would I have a guest sleep on the couch? Oh, I'm okay. Do you also mind if I take a shower? I have a change of clothes I grabbed from the office. Midoriya yawned. No problem. She picked up her bag and walked inside. Once she did, she took her shoes off. You got a nice place here. Thanks. Try and do what I can with the little I earn. He then led her to his room, which was to her surprise clean. You mind if I put my gear in the other room? I don't want anyone to steal it. Sure. You can go ahead and take a shower, and if you like I can get the stuff out of your car for you. She handed him her car keys. Thanks. While she went into the bathroom with her bag, Izuku went out to her car, popped the trunk, and grabbed her bags of gear. He then noticed he was still shirtless, since that is how he sleeps, so he never put one on after the shower. Never really looked at myself after the double dungeon. I look jacked. As he picked up the last bag, he heard people. That is 𝗕𝗄𝐻 car. Who is that? He turned and saw people with cameras, reporters. He closed the trunk and one of them came up. Hey, is that 𝗕𝗄𝐻 gear? Yeah, what about it? I will pay you any amount of money so we could have it. How about get bent? He turned to head to the stairs, but she grabbed his arm. Come on. She can just buy more. You have 2 seconds to let go or I break that wrist. She gulped and let go. Now give me the gear. Izuku got in her face. I said no. Now if you don't leave now, I will make sure none of you ever leave this place. The reporters gulped and ran off. But as they were walking away, one of them yelled, Wait. Take a picture of him. That must be her boyfriend. Oh, he was quick to get inside then. He slammed the door shut and set 𝗬's gear down. Jesus? The entire reason I haven't gotten my rank re-evaluated. He walked into the living room, set a pillow on the couch, and grabbed a blanket. Once he set the couch up, he covered up and went to bed. While he was doing that, 𝗬 finished getting dressed and saw the laundry basket in the bathroom had torn clothes in it covered in blood. Did he do a raid today? She picked up the jacket. The entire left sleeve is gone. And looks like puncture marks from a large sharp object in the back. His right sleeve is torn up too. She then picked up the shirt. The same puncture marks on his shirt. What the hell did he face? And he didn't even have a scar. He mentioned before that his normal strike team has a B rank healer, but this much damage to an E rank. The boss had to have been around an A rank or B rank. And his team can't raid above a C rank dungeon. What the hell happened? She set the shirt back in the basket and came out. Hey Midoriya. She didn't get a response. She entered the living room and saw he was fast asleep. She smiled and went to his room to sleep. Izuku was woken up to some screaming. Holy! Did he steal these? Izuku's eyes slowly opened. Who the F is yelling? It's to DMN early. Izumi came into the living room. Bro. Did you steal someone's gear? That stuff is expensive. Gear? What the hell are you talking about? The 3 bags full of armor, weapons, and other SHT you use for raiding dungeons. Dude, you are so going to jail. He rubbed his head. Bags of gear? What though? No, I didn't steal those. A friend came by last night cause their car broke down after they did a raid. So they crashed here. Oh, I guess that's why you're on the couch. I just thought you got drunk. I will cut you. You can try. Izuku yawned. Now if you excuse me, I am going back to sleep. Lazy bum. Says you. Who on weekends all she does is sleep and eat. She gasped, hey. Suddenly Izuku's bedroom door opened and 𝐻𝐻𝗄 came out rubbing her eyes. What is up with all the yelling? That's because of my dipshit sister. Call me a dipshit again. Dipshit. I swear. Dipshit. That's it. She jumped on Izuku, but he grabbed her wrist, got up, threw her on the couch, and sat on her back. Wanna try that again? Cha chuckled. I always heard sibling argued non-stop. Never got the chance to see it though. Izuku held Izumi's head in a pillow. Yeah, this is pretty normal for us. Izumi used her quick to lift Izuku off of her and she rolled off the couch. I couldn't breathe. Thought you would be used to that with how much food you stuff in your mouth. That's it. Izumi tackled Izuku and they proceeded to wrestle until Izuku had her in a headlock. Say uncle. And never. He squeezed tighter. Say uncle. Or it gets worse. Never loser. Izuku used his free hand to tickle her sides. And not fair. This is cheating. Say uncle short stack. Fine. Uncle. Izuku let her go while laughing. Once Izumi regained her breath, she also started laughing. Cha smiled. Are all siblings like this? Izuku shook his head. Not from what I have seen. Granted, if you had her as a sister maybe. Izumi chuckled and threw a pillow at Izuku. Oh, shush it. She looked up from the floor and looked at Cha. You look familiar. Have I seen you before? Cha smiled. Oh, I am 𝗻𝗄. You probably know me from the Hunters Guild. I am the vice president. Izumi's jaw dropped. You're that 𝗻𝗄𝗧𝗵𝗲. Izumi turned to her brother. 𝗻𝗄 is in our house. Izuku had just lied back down on the couch. I know. How do you know her? Remember how I started training at Chiyol's dojo? Yeah. She trains there too. So we started training together. Well, mainly her training me. So you're learning under a S rank hunter? Yeah. What the F has happened in the past couple weeks? Izuku chuckled. A lot. Cha spoke. Hey Midoriya. Izumi and Izuku both looked up at her. Yes. Izuku and Izumi both chuckled before Izuku spoke. When this 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is here, just call me Izuku. And when this useless 𝗵𝗲 is here, call me Izumi. Cha smiled a bit and chuckled. Alrighty. Well, Izuku, you mind if I head back to bed? Sure, no problem. I am planning on the same. Suddenly his phone went off and he looked. Ugh, never mind. The association needs help clearing a D rank gate. Let me get some clothes out of my room, Cha, before I leave. No problem. Izuku grabbed some clothes, changed, and left his room. Well, I am heading out. And Izumi, don't annoy Cha to the point she kicks your butt. Oh, she would never. He looked at Cha. You have my permission to kick her, but if she annoys you. Hey. That's not fair. Cha chuckled and Izuku left. Once he got to the location he froze. Holy 𝗧𝗍𝗍. He looked around and noticed that 5 of the 6 survivors from the double dungeon were here. 𝗓𝗍𝗓, a B-rank healer, spoke. 𝐻𝐻𝗠𝗋. And Midoriya. Is that you? Midoriya rubbed the back of his head with a smile. 𝗓𝗍𝗓. Why, you're really here? The other 2 turned and Chiyol thought. They're ashamed. Of course. We escaped with our lives but sacrificed Midoriya in order to do so. Sangshik even threatened me at sword point. No wonder he can't even look me in the eye. That aside, 5 of the 6 survivors being reunited like this makes you wonder. 𝗓𝗓𝗓, oh my gosh. This is surreal. You are Midoriya, aren't you? I am, I swear. You're so tall. And more muscular. Suddenly a van pulled up and when it stopped the doors opened and 3 prisoners stepped out. Midoriya got into a defensive stance in front of 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝗔𝗓. One of the prisoners, "We got a fine little lady in this group, fellas. Ditch that loser. Why not come get hot and heavy with me, baby? I got all kinds of games to peel." A man with purple hair that Izuku noticed was one of the two who re-examined his rank when he woke up was there. "Shut your dirty mouth. This isn't a play date." The same prisoner laughed. The same female association member from a couple days ago spoke. "Hunters, if you step this way, I will brief you on the unique circumstances of your raid today." 𝗓𝗏, yeah, that would be nice. Midoriya seconded. "You all will be accompanied by 3 prisoner substitute hunters who are out on good behavior." 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝗔𝗓 stepped forward. "Substitute hunters? You expect us to fight alongside criminals? It's true they are convicted men. However, they're here to reduce their jail time, so they shouldn't cause you any grief. We have little choice in the matter due to the shortage of local hunters. Please understand." For crying out loud. You will also be joined by an overseer from the association, 𝗕𝗫𝗁. He's B rank, so even in the worst-case scenario, he will be able to handle 3 C rank prisoners with ease. So you can rest assured. Midoriya, something isn't right. He turned to 𝗓𝗓𝗓. "Maybe you should sit this one out, 𝗓𝗓𝗓. Are you bailing too?" "No, I'm going." "All right then, so am I." 𝗕𝗫𝗁 uncuffed the criminals and approached the other 5. "As my associate mentioned, I am 𝗕𝗫𝗁 of the surveillance team. I will be keeping an eye on those 3 throughout the raid, so you can relax a bit. We will need a leader. Any volunteers?" 𝗓𝗏 turned to Midoriya. "What do you say? Would you be willing to follow my lead again?" "Yeah, no problem." He turned his head. "What about you, 𝗬𝗏𝗏? Do you care if I take the lead?" 𝗬𝗏𝗏 turned his head. "If that's what you want, go ahead." 𝗕𝗫𝗁 was looking at Midoriya while he was turned away, and 𝗓𝗏 stepped forward. "Well, it's settled. I volunteer to take point at today's raid. Thank you for your courage. Let's get underway then." Everyone then stepped into the gate. 10 minutes later they had encountered a swarm of goblins and the prisoners were tearing through them. 𝗓𝗏, "I'm not sure which ones are the true beasts here." A goblin jumped at him. He jumped back and snapped his fingers, lighting the goblin up in flames. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, even missing an arm, 𝗓𝗏𝗓's a beast himself. Midoriya blocked a strike from a goblin, knocked it back, and sliced its head off. 𝗓𝗏𝗓, "Okay, that's it for this group. It's impressive at how much stronger you have gotten, Midoriya. And that dagger's also pretty striking." He chuckled and 𝗓𝗓𝗓 spoke. "I gotta say I'm really impressed with you too. You fought and didn't need me to heal you even once." He chuckled and rubbed his head. "Well, I have been getting stronger and improving my skills. Maybe we can get through this without anybody needing my help. Still, having you here is nice." 𝗕𝗏𝗓, "He's changed. Not just how he looks, but how he carries himself. And a different aura about him. Like slaying beasts in nothing to him now." 𝗕𝗫𝗁, "Let's keep it moving." They all began to walk until they encountered 3 paths. 𝗓𝗏𝗓, "We got a choice to make." 𝗕𝗫𝗁, "The dungeon has been easier than expected. Should be safe to split into 3 groups. It'll up the risk factor if we do, but we would clear this thing a lot sooner. The threat's low, so sure. I'll take the prisoners down the path on the right. If you find the boss chamber, send someone to let us know." Midoriya, "Thanks to my enhanced perception, it's obvious. The boss is down the left. These goblins weren't getting me much XP anyway. Mr. Song, I say we take the path on the left." "Sounds good to me." 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 looked at 𝗓𝗏. "You and I can take the middle then." "Right. Let's go." They all went down their paths. Middle path, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, "Won't have any problems if it's just goblins." 𝗓𝗏 sliced a goblin with his axe. "All I want is to clear this thing in one piece. I'm sure we will be fine. If the weakest hunter signed up for this, how bad could it be? Except that's exactly what we thought last time. And well, you know, speaking of, I've decided that once this raid is over, I'm gonna apologize to Midoriya. Hasn't it been bugging you? How we ran away? Not only are we pro-hunters, but we are grown men. For the love of God, we used to raid with his dad. We have seen Midoriya since he was barely a teenager. And we left him. We ran for the sake of our family, sure. But he was one of our own. And yet we still left him there to die. It's about time we swallowed our pride. True hunters wouldn't brush it off. Do you think he will forgive us? Maybe. But that's not gonna stop me. Now let's go. We still got work today. Right path, 𝗕𝗁𝗂𝐁. What if you were facing humans? Prisoner 1, what? What if you were facing humans? Could you kill them as easily? Prisoner 2, a kill is a kill. I don't see the difference. Prisoner 3, all the same, here is what I will say when I talk to the inspectors. 100 goblins appeared and killed all 3 of you in a very brutal fashion. He quickly murdered 2 of them and started choking out the third. Somebody help me. Were you hoping for a quick death? Well, no such luck, because I was asked to make you suffer as much as possible before you die. But at that moment 𝗓𝗂𝐁𝐵 spoke after he came out of a connecting cave. What the hell is going on here? Seems the paths are connected. He snapped the prisoner's neck. If you're here, that means the left path leads to the dungeon boss. He pulled a dagger out. Thanks for the directions. He dropped the prisoner. Slight change of plans, but it's fine. Right path, they heard someone screaming and Midoriya yelled, "You all keep up." They ran until they encountered a connecting path and kept going until they say the dead bodies of the prisoners. He screamed, and 𝗔𝗂𝗁, what the hell were they attacked by? Midoriya turned his head and he sensed something invisible was getting ready to stab both 𝗓𝗂𝗁𝗂𝐁 and 𝗔𝗂𝐁. He dashed in front of the dagger and blocked it with his own. He healed the both up. They have cuts, but you should be able to. On it. 𝗔𝗂𝗁, some of these look like killing blows that were pulled at the last second. 𝗓𝗂𝗁𝗂𝐁 lifted his head, but before he could say anything something tried to stab but Midoriya grabbed the arm. 𝗕𝗁𝗂𝗁 jumped back. Whoa, you're a fast one. Blocking my initial strike and able to grab my arm. Thought I would save myself some trouble and kill the healer first. But it seems you managed to delay the inevitable. So, Mr. Kong, you're behind this. It's possible. But why? You're from the association. You won't get away with murder. It's possible with the right story. The prisoners were plotting an escape from the very start. They killed you all. And then they made the mistake of ambushing me while I was busy fighting the boss. But they soon found out how outmatched they really were, and that's why I was the sole survivor. He flipped his dagger and caught it. Think they will buy it? Midoriya, you piece of trash. He took a step forward, but 𝗔𝗂𝗁 stopped him. Though you have improved, you won't win. I will have to fight. No, I got this. He took another step forward. I've been doing more than just improving my skills. He is 3 ranks above you. I know. But I still got this. You won't be able to land a hit. Let me handle this. 𝗓𝗂𝗁𝗂𝐁, who was healed at this point, Midoriya. We won't let you risk your life again. You aren't. I got this. 𝗕𝗁𝗂𝗁 ran towards but Midoriya blocked it again and kicked him back, again. Who are you? Izuku Midoriya. A-rank hunter. You think I'm stupid? Everyone was shocked and 𝗔𝗂𝗁 spoke. The way you moved. I could see a power type being able to block that even at E-rank. But your reaction time is insane. And in order to do that not once, not twice, but 3 times you would need an assassin build. Your build isn't what matter though. Because you have been hiding your skills. Your little group seems to know each other. That rules out you being a false ranker since they don't let witnesses live. Which of course means one thing. A second awakening. 𝗔𝗂𝗁, is that true? He reawakened? 𝗓𝗂𝗁𝗂𝐁, it must have been after the double dungeon. 𝗓𝗂𝗁, yeah. Double dungeon. Is he that pathetic E-rank? Who only made into D-rank by 1 point? But he looks and acts like a different person now. If he reawakened, it must have been afterwards. So how did he survive the double dungeon? He pulled out his second dagger. In any case, it's clear you're still lacking experience. Allow me to give you a MS-tier class in hunting. I would prefer an explanation. You mean for killing the prisoners? They sexually assaulted someone and it drove her to suicide. The grieving father asked me to avenge her. They weren't adequately punished, so it's a bit of social justice. It's not the criminals I'm asking about. Granted, now I don't feel so bad for them. Why attempt to kill them? If it was to silence them, you could have just killed them on the first blow, but you didn't. You toyed with them. Scared them. bit of social justice. You're right. That's not what motivates you. He smirked. You want to know why? I enjoy killing. And it's far more fun killing people than it is beasts. He dashed forwards, but Izuku blocked it again. A reawakened 𝐕 has his limits too. He jumped back and started slashing, but Midoriya kept dodging. He then delivered a slash, but 𝗕𝗫 dodged it and got behind him. Too slow. Impressive. Midoriya dashed forwards and they started exchanging blows. Jumping from the walls and ceiling, trading blow after blow. Chill, look at that agility. He's nothing like the Midoriya I remember. Nothing at all. They dashed towards each other and exchanged blows while passing each other, and they both though. He's as fast as me. 𝗕𝗫, we got the same build, similar skill levels, but I have more experience battling high-ranked enemies. And that's why you're going to lose this fight. He kicked some dirt into Midoriya's eyes, blinding him for a moment. As Midoriya rubbed his eyes, 𝗕𝗫 delivered countless slashes. Midoriya was on one knee glaring at him. Well, you do have some grit. Sorry. Do you think you could be a little less bloodthirsty? A screen popped up. See. Even the system noticed now. System. Midoriya stood up and smirked. Actually, I should be grateful. The system has given me another reason to make sure you die. The system. What's he mean? I'm the one who has the advantage here. Midoriya used the dash skill and cut his left cheek. He got even faster. The wound began to show his veins, and his veins turned a shade of purple. His dagger can inflict poison. They then began to trade blows. You want to see something real special. 𝗕𝗫 then turned invisible. He vanished. Slashes then started landing. I should be undetectable, you perceptive 𝗵𝘃𝐶. This is the stealth skill. It hides my form, any sounds my body makes, and scent. Only a select few assassin hunters can even use this ability. Midoriya blocked a blow. Of course no one knows I'm one of them, because everyone who has seen it has died by my hands. He sliced Midoriya's right tendon. How's that tendon, by the way? 𝗔𝗂𝘁, I'll heal you, Midoriya. Keep your hands to yourself. Be patient and wait. You're next. And if you heal him, you're dead. Chill. Midoriya is bound to be exhausted. How about you leave her out of this? Think you can dodge my next strike with that injured leg and your other injuries? Hey! He turned. Are you done talking now? Full recovery. His injuries healed. No. He healed in an instant. I've never heard or seen a combat hunter who was able to use healing magic too. What else can he do? Midoriya began to emit a dark aura. I can't read him. I just know he's dangerous. That's another one of my emotions gone. I don't even need to get angry to kill filth like you. He smirked. I get it now. You've also killed people before, haven't you? The others gasped and 𝗕𝗫 laughed. So we're in the same biz. I see. He must have had to make a number of grave decisions in a very short time to get to where he is now. And it changed more than his appearance. Awakenings. They granted humans unthinkable power and turned the world on its head. Even more than quirks did. Laws and ethics don't mean 𝗧𝗏 in here. We hunters make the rules. That's why the strongest come out on top. He disappeared again and started attacking from every angle. But Midoriya blocked it all. Hang on. Is he tracking me from my bloodlust? But he still can't pinpoint me exactly. He got in close, but once he got close enough, Midoriya used the murderous intense skill. When he slowed down, he froze. No. It can't be. Midoriya then stabbed him in the heart. Wait. What the hell? 𝗕𝗫 fell against a wall trying to breathe, but he couldn't. You asked why I tried to kill those other two. He coughed up BLD. The answer is pretty simple. We thrive in combat, so normal morals don't apply. And you're just the same. Goes for all hunters. We are basically killing machines, right? So I'll die cause it's natural selection. The strongest one always makes the rules, and I lost to you. But what the hell are you? An assassin class with healing and debuff magic. It's unheard of. It is. To tell the truth, I also want to know what the hell I am. He coughed up more BLD, covering the front of his white button-up. I know whatever you are, it's not an E rank, and after killing me your charade is over, so why not come clean? All right then. Everyone there listened in. I am a hunter who gets stronger with every battle. He smirked and chuckled. Then your shadow must stretch into some really nasty places. You will probably get as strong as those places are dark. I suggest you watch it. If you gaze for long into the abyss gazes also into you. Midoriya grabbed his dagger and he fell to her knees. Midoriya? Thank you. You saved us again. Chill, I'm just so blown away. Survived another near-death experience thanks to you. Sangshik, I agree with them. Zhang-Cho, yeah, if it weren't for you we would have all died. Yeah, well, you go on ahead and start making your way out of here. He began walking away. I'll handle the boss. Till, what? All by yourself? Sangshik, yeah. Actually on second thought you do that. Juhi, we will wait for you by the dungeon entrance. 5 minutes later Midoriya returned without so much as another scratch on him. Let's go. They left the dungeon and the gate closed behind them. 10 minutes later 𝗔𝗫𝗁 stepped out of his car and walked towards the group. As he did he looked at Midoriya. Is that the E-rank hunter from before? He sure hit quiet a growth spurt. Good to see you again. Midoriya, I'm Inspector 𝗔𝗫𝗁, right? Yes. You 5 will receive a formal apology for what Taishik put you through. But first things first. I need to address the main issue. Which of you 5 actually defeated him? Midoriya, guess I can't hide it anymore. I am gonna have to call up Jinho and cancel. Chill, it was all of us. And what is all of your ranks again? Till, C-rank. Juhi, B-rank. Sangshik, D-rank. Zhang-To, C-rank. Midoriya, P-rank. And how did you all manage that? Juhi, it was me. I gave them all physical enhancements buffs that made it so we could at least be able to overwhelm him with numbers. Makes sense. Taishik was a high-level B-rank. By all accounts, none of them should have been able to do anything. Very well. I'll need to write this incident up, so if you could please come with me. Midoriya, can't get overconfident just because I beat a B-rank. I couldn't tell before, but this guy is an A-rank. And a high-level one too. As I am now I wouldn't stand a chance. I'd be helpless against him. Chill, sorry if I overstepped by doing that. But you probably have a good reason for keeping your strength hidden. Count it as repayment for saving our lives. 3 hours later Midoriya and Juhi were at a park. Midoriya stretched. What a day, huh? Midoriya. He turned around and saw Juhi holding the essence stone he gave her while they were in the double dungeon. We had a deal. You remember it, right? He chuckled. No, I haven't. She handed it to him and they began to walk. You know you have changed a lot. And then there is me who hasn't changed at all. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone is different. I changed a lot because a lot has happened. She chuckled. Yeah, very true. There is one thing I can finally admit though. I'm too timid for this job. I thought I would overcome that, but I just couldn't. She stopped. I should have been signing up for A-rank and B-rank dungeons. Joining a large guild. I knew that, but I purposely stuck with the D and E ranks. Those low-rank raids were how I met you though, Midoriya. And how I found myself healing you over and over again. He chuckled. At first I was a little annoyed by how often you got hurt. Yet somehow you always survived. You got back up and kept fighting no matter what. That passionate fire in your eyes never flickered out, not even a little. In fact, it's burned into my mind. We promised we would go out to eat somewhere. She handed over the stone. But you should have this back. 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Can I know why? 'Cause I'm leaving. I'm retiring as a hunter. I'm moving back home. So give me a call if you're ever in the area and I'll show you around. For old time's sake. Midoriya smiled and put his hand on the stone. Fair enough. When that happens I'll cash in our rain check. She let go of the crystal and he took hold of it. Sure. She then walked away and Midoriya went home. After Midoriya left Juhi on his way home, he passed by the same area the gate he cleared was. When he did, 𝗔𝗫𝗁, who was still there, approached him. I need to talk to you. I'm okay. Quite frankly, I don't see an E-rank having a hand in Taishik's defeat like you are. I was the one who tested you for a potential reawakening. But I do feel compelled to give you a warning. What warning? If you want to live a long life, then be careful. What do you mean by be careful? You survived when 𝗳𝗂𝗵𝗲 strike team was wiped out too. You and that 𝗕𝗏𝗏 most likely painted targets on your back. Because 𝗳𝗂𝗵𝗲 is the older brother of 𝗳𝗏𝗃. If he isn't after you too, I would be shocked. 𝗳𝗏𝗃 as in the S rank who moved to America. What actually happened doesn't matter to him. The only thing that does is the fact his brother died and you too didn't. S ranks aren't bound by laws. With as much power as they possess, they can create miracles or destruction. Basically a monster who even monsters fear is coming for you. If I were you, I would take your family and leave the country as soon as you can. I'm good. If he does come after me, I know the association meets hunters like him at the airport. If he does come here, I want you to deliver a message. What is it? If he tries to hurt anyone I care about, I will make what the boss did to his brother look like a pleasant dream. Jinchul was flabbergasted at that statement, but before he could say anything, Midoriya had left. As he was walking, he gripped the stone Jew he gave him. Another reason I need to get stronger. I have two. 𝗳𝗏 is one of the strongest S ranks. The only S rank hunter he was weaker than in Japan was 𝗬𝗏𝗏 when fully transformed. No one knows what his transformed state looks like, but according to the media they had a fight and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 came out on top. At the bare minimum, I need to get that strong. Even stronger. I will never stop growing. So I need to keep finding the next step to climb. Otherwise I won't be able to survive. At the Hunters Guild building, leader of the Hunters Guild S-rank hunter Choi Jong-un was looking over some files. His vice president 𝐻 had left to meet her friend Midoriya after she had heard what happened with 𝗕𝗏𝗃. He had a feeling the report his strike squad filed wasn't right. Even with the buffs from a B-rank healer, the strike squad should not have been able to defeat 𝗕𝗏𝗃, who was a high-tier B-rank and an incredibly skilled assassin-type hunter. Especially after defeating the boss. He had even attempted to recruit him to no avail. Also, something 𝗕 had said stuck in his mind. She has a special ability to smell how strong hunters are. It is incredibly rare but not unheard of. Japan has one and America has listed they have had a couple too. That doesn't account for other countries who don't report that stuff either. But they all have one thing in common. Every hunter, no matter what rank, have a horrible stench around them. The stronger they are, the worse the smell. They have never reported any hunter who smelled differently. But if he takes 𝗕 at her word, then Midoriya does not have this smell. According to her, he smells like her favorite flower lilies. Also, something else about Midoriya was weird. When he showed up at the track where they were training, he sensed another mana presence. A mana presence that was around B rank. But it disappeared when Midoriya saw him. Even the highest level E rank would never give off that much mana presence. As a high-tier mage, he can sense mana from individuals more accurately than other types of hunters. And he was never wrong. Could Midoriya be a false ranker? No, not possible. When he got evaluated years ago, it was sure he was an E rank. And the injuries he obtained fit that. Countless hospital visits also prove that. So the only possible way is for him to have undergone a second awakening. But when? It couldn't have been when he got re-evaluated after the double dungeon. It takes time to get the skill to lower the mana you subconsciously express. No way he could have picked that up immediately after the fact. 𝗳𝗏𝗃 strike team being annihilated. Maybe. But they went with the fact that the D rank had expensive and strong gear, and that is why they were able to survive the boss fight and the rest of the strike team didn't. And according to the report, his armor was damaged a bit. But Midoriya didn't have any injuries. His clothes were torn and scrapped in some places, but that was it. And there was no healer on the team. He used his magic to light a cigarette. What are you, Midoriya? I doubt you had a second awakening. E ranks who reawaken land in high B rank to mid A rank. In some rare cases they can land in high A rank or even S rank. And you seem to be a low B rank from what I could sense. Could you be a hunter who absorbs the mana around you, thus making you stronger and stronger? A hunter who constantly levels up. If you are, this is rare. A first of your kind. If you are, then you must join the Hunters Guild. Maybe I could use 𝗕. No, she won't go for it. She sees you as a friend. And she would never compromise her friendship with you just to join a guild. Maybe I could get her to at least ask. She values her friends very highly. If I do that, I run the risk of her leaving and joining another guild. And if I were a betting man, the Knights Guild would offer her as much as possible. They are the only guild in Japan without an S rank. He typed on his phone and his assistant answered, President Choi. How may I help you tonight? I need you to look into a hunter for me. Gather whatever you can. Will do. What is this hunter's name? Izuku Midoriya. He is an E rank. An E rank, sir. Are you sure? I'm sure. Something about him. Do you suspect he underwent a second awakening? I don't think so. I don't know what happened. But gather anything you can on him. Family, friends, acquaintances, anything. I have a feeling about him. Will do. If you have a feeling about him, it must be true your sharp eyes haven't failed yet. I'm hoping they haven't failed me again. The line went dead. If you truly are a hunter who never stops growing, I need you here. You could make the Hunters Guild become one of the strongest guilds in the world. Midoriya apartment. When Izuku got home, he saw that Heian-cha was still here. He opened the door and heard someone yell, Izu. He sighed and took off his shoes. It's me, Cha. Once his shoes were off, he walked into the living room, and Cha was still wearing her raid gear minus her sword. Did you just get back from a raid? She nodded. Yeah. I was with the B team today since we had some new recruits join them today. I was mainly there to handle things if they got to out of hand. Midoriya took off his jacket and put it on the rack. Makes sense. What are you doing here? Car still broke down. She gave him a slime. No, I got it fixed. The reason I am here is because I heard about what happened with 𝗕𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲. Are you okay? He nodded. Yep. 𝗕𝗲𝗓 healed us all right up. 𝗕𝗲𝗓. Oh, I guess I didn't tell you. 𝗕𝗲𝗓 is our B rank healer. Well, she is retiring. Why, if I may ask? She just can't handle it. The bloodshed, the fighting, the murder. She just can't stomach it anymore. Cha nodded. That makes sense. She stood up from the couch and walked towards him. Are you sure you okay? From what I heard, the other members of your strike squad were seriously injured before 𝗕𝗓𝗓 healed them up. And they're ranked higher than you. He gave her a smile. I promise I am okay. If you want me to show you, just let me take a shower. Actually, you should go first. Are you sure? I'm sure. Also, where is Izumi? With a friend of school. She said her name was Mina Ishido. I think. Alrighty. Well, she is 18 now and in college, so I trust her. Alrighty. You have any clothes I can wear? I didn't have any more back at work. Yeah, no problem. Hope you don't mind wearing men's underwear. That's fine. I wear them anyway unless I am raiding. He blushed. Information I didn't need to know. She blushed. I thought I said that in my head. They both turned away from each other. Why, you can get in the shower. I'll leave the clothes outside the door. Okay. She then went into the bathroom. Izuku then went and grabbed Cha some clothes. A plain t-shirt, shorts, and boxers. He then sat them outside the bathroom door and he went to eat some leftovers he had. 10 minutes later, Heian-cha left the bathroom after getting dressed. Shower is all yours, Izuku. He gave her a smile and put his dishes in the dishwasher. Alrighty. Be back in a minute. Another 10 minutes later, Izuku came out in his usual sleepwear, with it just being shorts. He had a towel around his neck and rubbing his head to dry his hair. I'm out now. Cha yelled from Izuku's room. In here. He went in, still drying his hair. I am gonna go ahead and go to bed. Today's raid tired me out. But before I do. He began turning in a circle. No injuries. 𝗕𝗓𝗓 healed me right up. She breathed a sigh. That's good. Well, you sleep well. You do too. Izuku went to the couch and slept, and Cha was not far behind. The next day, Midoriya met up with Jinho at a C-rank gate with the hunters he gathered. Jinho. Just one question. What am I looking at here? What else could it be? This is our strike squad. Midoriya looked at each of the hunters. When making my selections, I prioritized people who are registered hunters but can't work for certain reasons. And people who are having trouble getting by. The injured and drunk made the cut. It works better for us, so yeah. Not to mention they want the money. We can't raid C-rank gates without 10 people. Midoriya focused on a female hunter. Dude, is that a kid? Minors can raid as long as they are awakened. And she has, so it's okay. The female hunter stepped forward. Who are you calling a kid? I'm a hunter too. Aren't you a high schooler without any raid experience? Why yes. Are you an E rank? Why yes. Well, whatever. You all are staying outside. Only me and Jinho are going into the gate. Jinho addressed everyone. All right, everyone. We are paying you all because we by law need at least 10 people to raid a C rank gate. But only me and Midoriya will be going in. One of the members. Are we really getting paid 3 million won to just sit here? 3 million won converted to USD is 2,055. 15. Jinho nodded. Yep. 3 million won per raid. Not bad for not even having to enter a gate. You just have to wait nearby until we return. But per the contract you all have to keep this a secret. If you don't keep it a secret then you owe us 10 times what we have paid you. They all nodded and Midoriya waited for Jinho to get ready. When Jinho appeared, Midoriya spoke. Dude, what the hell are you wearing? Jinho, who was wearing black knight armor with red highlights, a full suit of buff boosting tempered armor from Italy. Since it's just you and me I had to prepare something. Midoriya lightly tapped him and he fell over. Take it off or I rip it off. Ugh, fine. He attempted to get up. Boss. Again, boss. Again, boss. Once Jinho got the armor off, onward, boss. Why do you still have the helmet on? I need at least some protection. Ugh, fine. They then entered the gate. 1 hour the strike squad was starting to get nervous. It has been an hour since the two entered. One of them spoke. It would take an average strike squad 2 hours to clear a C rank gate. That is also if they aren't dead. Midoriya and Jinho exited the gate. The G gate is closing. They beat the boss. Jinho, alright. The next gate is an hour away. The squad, who the hell are these guys? Jinho, come on guys. We got 2 more raids for the day. As the days passed, Midoriya killed countless magic beasts, getting countless levels. Jinho also filled up multiple bags with mana crystals and essence stones. Each gate seemed to give more than the last. 3 days have passed and they were currently in a gate fighting werewolf-type creatures. Izuku turned invisible and slashed through 4 of them. It wasn't fun getting the stealth skill. But it sure as hell is handy. The dash skill leveled up. That's nice. Another screen popped up and he smirked. A werewolf creature attempted to jump on him but he delivered multiple jabs and killed it. And with my new advanced dagger wielding and fatal strike skills, I feel unstoppable. Jinho, awesome job today. As soon as I snag all these goods we can be on our way. Got it. Midoriya sat down on a rock and drank a mana recovery potion. My new skills are handy. But if I had more mana they would be a lot handier. I'll have to put more points into increasing my intellect. Level, 40 health, 16,850 after the 100 he started with. It seems that his health goes up by 250 points every point after doing some math. Mana, 5,860 after the 10 he started with. It seems that his stats go up by 150 every point after doing some math. Job, none. Title, Wolf Assassin. All abilities gain a 40% buff when fighting animal-type monsters. Strength, 122 intellect, 49 agility, 92 perception, 67 vitality, 77 available ability points, 66 skills. Advanced dagger wielding LVL 1. Your skills with a dagger have increased. Damage increased by 33% when using dagger's fatal strike, 170 MP to use. You've learned how to attack more efficiently. You can locate any opponent's weak spots and inflict major damage. Even weak spots they didn't know they had. Can only be used with daggers. Dash LVL 2 allows user to increase their speed. Higher the LVL the faster you can go. Cost 5 MP to activate and 1 MP every minute. MP cost doubles every level. Current cost 10 MP to activate and 2 MP every minute. Stealth allows user to blend into their surrounding and hides all sense of their presence. Cost 400 MP to activate and 2 MP every second. Cannot level up this skill. Okay, so any skills I get that aren't from the system I can't level up. So if I eventually buy more rune stones I can't level them up. That's good to know. I guess I forgot to invest all the ability points I got from the daily quest and the level up bonuses. My strength seems to be fine. Haven't encountered anything I couldn't rip apart. Granted, I say that now. Let's invest in vitality, perception, and intellect. Vitality, 77 plus 23 is equal to 100 new HP, 22,600 perception, 67 plus 20 is equal to 87 intellect, 49 plus 23 is equal to 72 new MP, 9,310, that should make me good for now. Should I take this momentum to the demon castle? Where I am now, I probably fall somewhere between low A rank to high A rank. I could try taking on that dungeon. But I don't know. Let me shoot for level 60. Then I will be almost 3 times higher in rank than I was before. And that should make me an S rank at that point. But how strong of one? Would I be stronger than the other S rank hunters? Suddenly a screen popped up. Wasn't aware there was a target level I was supposed to be aiming for. A job change quest. White Tiger Guild, manager on. What is it, 𝐒𝐻𝐁? 𝐒𝐻𝐁 handed over some papers. Look at this. As he started looking through, 𝐒𝐻𝐁 spoke. A few recent bids for the local C-rank dungeon gates. 150 million. Who in their right mind blows that much money on the permit for a C-rank gate once but multiple times? There is a strike team that's spending nearly double the market rate for C-rank gates around here. Because of that, our lower rank hunters to improve their skills on, for us to get monster corpses, essence stones, and mana crystals. Who are they? Never heard of this squad or this 𝗔𝗂𝘅 character that's leading them. 𝗔𝗂𝘅 is the youngest son of 𝐒𝐻𝐈 Construction's president. The 𝐒𝐻𝐈 Construction. I know they are trying to make their own guild but spending this much money so his son can get some gate clears. They keep spending like this, it will just put them in the red. On kept reading, seems excessive. His eyes focused on a name. 𝗲 Izuku Midoriya. Yes, sir. It seems they threw together a band of misfits and randoms. It's hard to say what they are planning. On leaned but his chair and read the paper again. Is this the same Izuku Midoriya from the double dungeon incident that President Beck was at? There's something here. I can smell it. On stood up. Follow me. Once they entered the elevator, On spoke. I think Izuku Midoriya reawakened. 𝗧𝗂. You think he reawakened? That is what I just said. Do you have anything to base that on? There have been 3 huge disasters recently that Hunter Midoriya survived despite the casualties. First, the double dungeon. Second, the annihilation of Dong Seok-hwang's strike team. And last but certainly not least, getting caught in 𝗕𝗓𝐁𝐵's murder spree. There was just a handful of survivors in each incident. And Izuku Midoriya was always one of them. But what about 𝗕𝗓𝗁? A lot of survivors made it out of there. If he reawakened, he would have had the power to protect them and kill 𝗕𝗓𝗁. A reawakening is the only explanation that would make sense. Well, I guess that makes sense. The elevator doors opened. So where are you headed now, manager on? To research. No, 𝗕𝗁. He smiled. There is a promising rookie out there I'd like to go scout. Before we leave, grab a drone. We need to get video to show President Beck. On it. At a gate, all the hunters were eating and drinking outside the gate. On. Well, this is a plot twist. What is this, a picnic? Han Songi, the minor of the squad. Hi. And bye. This place is a restricted area. On rubbed his head. Sorry about that. But we noticed there were a bunch of hunters hanging out over here and couldn't help but take a closer look. 𝗕𝗁, that blue light is a gate, yeah. Is it okay for you to be this close? Han, I'm not a kid, so stop treating me like one. You can treat me like a hunter. On. Wait. If you're a hunter, then, are you on the strike team in charge of this gate? Han turned her head away. Weiss. Ha. Gotcha. Hunter Midoriya must be clearing the dungeon alone as we speak. If I'm right about this, he could be a big find. No bigger than big. I see, sorry for disturbing you. As they walked away, On spoke. Get the drone out so we can record the situation. They got to a safe spot and the drone was in the air. 10 minutes they had captured footage of the other hunters hanging out and then of Midoriya and 𝗔𝗂𝘅 leaving the gate. Midoriya spoke to 𝗔𝗂𝘅. Hey, do we have any raids scheduled for tomorrow? I gotta do a couple errands that are going to take me all day. So I'm good to take off. Jinho pulled out his phone. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, I reserved 2 tomorrow. Want me to cancel? And lose the money? I know you have it, but still. I can hold on to them for another 3 days. But we do need to clear one of them soon. It becomes a dungeon break in 4 days. Then yeah, let's delay. When does the other one become a dungeon break? Well, it just appeared today, so we have a full week. Jinho put his phone away and turned to the others. Sorry for the wait. We got one more today and then we are good. They then left and the 2 White Tiger agents landed the drone and got the footage. Couple hours later, Midoriya was currently driving to the Hunter's building since 𝐻𝐁𝐴 asked to meet her there before they went on a raid that night. He pulled into the visitor parking lot, which at this point he had his own reserved spot thanks to 𝐻𝐁𝐴 since he came here to meet her a couple times a week. He even got his own pass to get in case the doors were locked and 𝐻𝐴 was still out on a raid. The pass also let him sleep in the visitor quarters for people that do the same thing, such as hunters whose families are wanting to make sure they get home safe, kids, spouses, and others. As he pulled in, a car passed him and parked in a parking lot nearby, and 2 people got out. As Midoriya got out, 𝐻𝐴 walked out and smiled. Hey Midoriya. Hey 𝐻𝐴. What are you doing out here? Well, I saw your car pull in, so I thought I would meet you. Awesome. Well, what's up? You sounded a bit nervous on the phone. Well, in a couple days the Hunters Guild A squad is flying on a helicopter to scope out something. And that something is Jeju Island. Some guilds are wanting to plan a 4th raid on it. Jesus. Are they sure? The first 3 were nasty. Countless hunters died. I know. At the time of those 3 I wasn't a hunter. I didn't even watch the before and after videos of the raids. Too busy training for track and field. I just heard it was bad. And President Choi doesn't want to talk about his experience with it. And I know while you weren't there as a hunter you probably watched everything related to it. Yeah, I did. Oh. How bad was it exactly? Horrible. The gate appeared 4 years ago in a mountain tunnel. No one knew a gate was even there before it was too late. By the time a team was even in the start of being assembled, almost everyone on Jeju died. A couple hundred were able to get away on boats or flying. I think if you add up all the deaths from all 3 raids, almost around 10,000 hunters, awakeners, heroes, and civilians were killed, including Yunho Baek's best friend and S-rank hunter Yoon-seok, who died on the 3rd and final raid attempt. In terms of S-rank gates, this one has claimed countless more lives than any other S-rank gate has in the world. 𝐒𝐁𝐵 gate that appeared in America 8 years ago didn't even claim 5,000. Did you know why each attempt was a fail? Well, the closest we got was the first raid. The hunters were able to find the queen's location and even able to see her. But by the time they did, they had to retreat. The reason the other 2 didn't work is because with every raid we had less and less hunters wanting to join. And even less hunters in general. That's a big reason why, even though Japan is huge, we have a smaller percentage of people who are awakened than, let's say, America. So the amount of people participating was the issue. No, I never said that. It was also the fact that every raid the ants changed. They evolved. They got stronger. A Royal Guard ant is around the level of an S rank from what I can remember. But there were only ever 10 of them. But by the second, a Royal Guard ants were starting to participate on top of stronger ants. And then by the 3rd, the normal ants went from being around a low B rank threat to a mid A rank threat. Not to mention the ants in the caves got strong, being a high A rank threat. And the Royal Guards changed, getting stronger and stronger. Basically, they just keep evolving. Now I am even more nervous. Midoriya took her hands. Hey, look at me. She looked him in the eyes. I'm not saying the 4th attempt will fail if there is one. I'm just saying if there is, be safe and keep your eyes sharp. Never let your guard down for a second. If you're participating, I know the gate will cleared. She smiled. With that enthusiasm, you should be with us and lead. He chuckled. Yeah. Having an E-rank lead S-rank hunter to clear out Jeju Island would go over well. She took a breath and hugged him. Thanks. I really needed that. He hugged her back. No problem. If you ever need anything, I'm here. She smiled and Midoriya drove to a location. After he left on 𝗵𝗵𝗏. He is friends with 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐳. No doubt he will join the Hunters Guild. 𝗕𝗏𝗁. Sir, calm down. Just because they are friends doesn't mean he will just join their guild. Maybe he wants to create his own guild. The tax benefits alone are worth it. Maybe. We should still try. He pulled out his phone and called someone. President Beck. We have something you need to see. At the same time Choi Jong-un was looking out his window, no doubt about it. Midoriya, what are you? Woods, an hour has passed since Midoriya left the Hunters Guild building. He parked his car in a secluded part of the woods. This should be safe and away from prying eyes. 'Cause who knows what's about to go down. A job change quest. I had to reach level 40 for this to pop up. Looks like I don't need a key to access it like I did with the other 2 dungeons. But it's also unlike the penalty and emergency quests since I wasn't forced into carrying it out immediately. Speaking of the penalty, I will do that once I get out of here. It's 5:43 p.m. so I should clear this and have plenty of time. But the quest seems to be optional. And I've been given plenty of time to decide if I want to do it or not. Guess that means it's going to be more difficult than any dungeon I have done so far. But it will let me earn skills best suited to my job. This quest will make me stronger. He took a breath. Accept. A gate opened in front of him. Let's get this done. As Izuku entered the dungeon, 3 screens popped up. I can't use potions or full recovery in this place. I also can't leave until I finish the quest. Gonna have to be extra careful. It also says my health and mana don't regenerate while I am in here unless I have spells or weapons that have health drain on them. And my dagger only drains the health of the enemy. It doesn't give it back to me. I'm gonna have to be extra careful. He then heard heavy footsteps and he saw a knight, a armor-type beast. He pulled out his dagger and dashed towards him. Once he got close, he delivered countless slashes before he passed him. Not a scratch. He put his dagger back in his inventory. Gonna have to do this the hard way. As the knight swung the sword down at him, Izuku jumped behind him and put his left hand on the knight's head and his right hand on its shoulder. How about I rip your demon head off? The knight began to struggle, but Izuku could feel whatever the knight was made of begin to crack. And then it did. The head flew off. 𝗵𝗏𝗏. Good thing I have dealt with armored beasts before. He looked at his dagger that he pulled out of his inventory. That giant blue snake from before was the same. I know weapons don't pierce that heavy armor unless I have a lot of points invested into strength. Since your name was Orange, you were a slightly higher level than me. He kicked the head away and heard 4 more beasts walking towards him. Not like your tin can's care, is it? The heavy armored knight charged him and Izuku ripped off its head. I should have done this quest tomorrow. His eyes went wide and he stabbed the dagger to an assassin behind him who was invisible. Stealth. Now beasts are using that skill too. He dodged a ray of light. A mage casting light magic, no less. What are the odds of that? Low, I'm sure. If you add in the armor, I am essentially living my battles since I got the system. 3 more beasts spawned. I knew this quest would be a tough one. He dodged an arrow. Different beasts have different kinds of weaknesses. You'll also like 𝗵𝗃 Deku discontinued by 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐵 Deku discontinued 8K in the world Izuku lived in. Having superpowers were totally natural. These superpowers were also known as quirks. Being born as one of the few quirkless people, 𝐒𝐭𝐚 Deku rewrite by Nate Dogs 15 𝐒𝐭𝐚 Deku rewrite 4K Izuku Midoriya is a quirkless teen whose world is being attacked by a new kind of villain known as a 𝗏𝗏. However, his father, Hisashi Midoriya, has created a new verdant emperor, villain Izuku by the Hinakami verdant emperor, villain 𝐔𝐬𝐽 4K. What happens to people that don't have quirks in a world full of quirks? What happens to the world when one quirkless person finally snaps? Well, chaos happens because How You Became a Hero My Hero Academia Midoriya Izuku X Reader Heavy Checkmark by Inori02 How You Became a Hero My Hero Academia K8K. This is the story of how you became a hero. You even became a hero to the pros. You don't start off as well as everyone else, but you soon grow stronger than everyone else. Beast Leveling by Balaikava Beast Leveling 1K Izuku Midoriya's life was plagued by misfortune. Born without a quirk, father died in a hero work line and had a terrible friend who mocked him as a child. When he became Izuku the Monkey King by Chitox 2 Izuku the Monkey King 5K 6K in a world where powers are known as quirks lies a being who was just a myth with power above all. What if that power was bestowed upon a young man who's been nothing but he dodged an assassin dagger and a knight sword? He then sliced the mage attack with his dagger. You need strength for knights, perception for assassins, and agility for archers. The knight swung his sword down but he blocked it with his dagger. I wouldn't be able to damage knights without enough strength. He kicked the knight away, flipped his dagger around, and stabbed behind him, stabbing the assassin in the gut. I wouldn't sense assassins without enough perception. He dodged a volley of arrows and sliced a mage attack. My weak spot though is mages. He grabbed the knight before it could recover and used him as a shield. The intellect stat has to be the one that counters them. But that's the stat I have the least amount invested in. He threw the knight at the mage, making the mage fall over. Less intellect means less mana. So I can't afford to waste skills. He then used the dash skill to rush to the archer and slice its head off. Then there's my fatigue. I need to end this. Fatigue. 66 Before the head even hit the floor, he was back at the mage and stabbed the dagger through its head. Once he did, he then picked up all the items in the area, beats dropping canteens. I should thank you guys. But consider it repayment for trying to kill me. He then saw more screens. A high-rank knight's chest plate. I haven't experimented with gear much. He put it on. It's invisible. He then started kicking and punching the air. Doesn't restrict movement either. I'm not fully restored yet, so it's hard to tell. I leveled up at least. So, scored some golden items too. Me leveling up restored my fatigue. He looked down the hallway and started walking. I better go see what the next stage has in store for me. But even though I've leveled up this much, I still can't tell what else the system has for me. As he walked, he saw a giant door. Well, if I have common sense, the next challenge must be behind this door. I have a bad feeling about it though. But the only way out is through. I have no choice but to press on. He pushed the doors opened and a gust of wind went past him. If video games are to say anything, this is the boss room. He entered and the doors shut behind him, a throne room. He then felt an extraordinary presence and he heard heavy footsteps. Out from behind a pillar walked 10-foot-tall red knight dragging a heavy great sword. Izuku equipped his dagger, even after I got taller from the system and am now 6'4". This knight towers over me like nothing. But this feeling, it's different but similar. His body shook. My body remembers this. It's the same pressure I felt in the double dungeon. The knight stopped in front of the steps to the throne and was now holding the sword like normal. Izuku then read its name and gulped. In dark red letters his name was Knight Commander, 𝐒𝐵 the Blood Red. He chuckled. Guess your name is in the same shade as 𝗵𝗃𝗃. I'm screwed. That shade of red is darker than anything I have ever fought before. A knight who defends an empty throne. 𝐒𝐵 readied his sword in front of him and Izuku readied his dagger. Let's go. 𝐒𝐵 dashed in front of Izuku and swung his to the side to hit Izuku in his side. So fast. Izuku ducked out of the way and the slash destroyed an entire pillar. He cut that pillar like it was nothing but a piece of paper. I cannot get hit by that thing. Before Izuku's feet hit the ground, 𝐒𝐵 swung the sword around him and then swung it at Izuku. He blocked it with his dagger, but since he was in the air he was sent flying and he skipped over the floor, gaining his footing right in front of a wall. But 𝐒𝐵 was in front of him the second he regained his footing and cut up at him, and he narrowly dodged, but the cut destroyed the wall, turned it into rubble. This dude is beyond just strong. 𝐒𝐵 then delivered another blow that Izuku barely blocked and he was sent flying again. 𝐒𝐵 flew past him and when he hit the floor 𝐒𝐵 was right there swinging another attack at him. He slammed his sword down and Izuku jumped back, but a portion of the floor was destroyed. His heavy armor doesn't seem to be slowing him down a bit. Izuku charged at him, attempting to cut him with his dagger, but 𝐒𝐵 evaded every attack. He jumped behind him, changed the hands his dagger was in, and attempted to slash his side. Still nothing. 𝐒𝐵 turned and slammed his sword down on him, but Izuku raised his dagger and held it against his sword, blocking it with all his strength. Before he could do anything, 𝐒𝐵 kicked him away and he slid across the floor. Izuku gained his footing and spit out some BLD. We're equals in terms of speed, but he's way more powerful. The dust settled revealing 𝗔𝗓𝗧, and his armor to the heavy so I can't pierce it with my dagger. Do I have any hope of beating this guy? 𝗔𝗓𝗧 glared at him. He's tougher than I first thought. Still. He put his dagger back in his inventory. He's an armor type. If my weapon isn't effective, I'll just 𝗧𝗏𝗧 things up. Let's throw hands 𝗔𝗓𝗧. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 tilted his head at this and stabbed his sword into the ground. He then took his cape off and his belt, which had 2 daggers on it. I guess knights really are chivalrous. He must think this will be easy. In a split second, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 had his right fist firmly lodged in Izuku's gut and punched him into the ground. So fast. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 then threw him into the wall, and right as Izuku hit it, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 was there to deliver a beatdown. Izuku raised his arms in an X shape to block, but 𝗔𝗓𝗧 didn't care. He delivered so many blows so fast dust kicked up, the wall cracked even more, and Izuku was getting even further into the wall. As 𝗔𝗓𝗧 pulled his arm back for another punch, Izuku jumped out of the way and slid on his feet while breathing heavy. Even though I equipped armor and blocked him, I still lost 5,000 HP. If I didn't block or equip armor and took that attack full-on, would have killed me. And that was without his DMN sword. He's too strong. I can't compete with his brute strength, but I have the speed. He used the dash skill to proceed to run circles around 𝗔𝗓𝗧. He attempted to deliver a kick to his head, but he flew past and landed on a wall. He used the wall, launched himself at 𝗔𝗓𝗧, delivering a blow to his head that he blocked with his arms. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 then grabbed him, slammed him into the ground, picked him up, and punched him away. Skill willpower, that passive skill raised my defense. While he was in the air, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 grabbed a boulder and threw it at him. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 then jumped towards him and kicked him into a pillar. Izuku dashed at 𝗔𝗓𝗧 as soon as 𝗔𝗓𝗧 hit the ground and proceeded to attempt to land blows, but 𝗔𝗓𝗧 blocked every single one. After one blow, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 swept Izuku's feet out from under him, putting him upside down in the air, but Izuku used his momentum to turn and kick 𝗔𝗓𝗧 in the back of the neck. But it didn't seem to faze him. Just PSS him off. If Izuku thought the barrage of punches he received before was a beating, then what the hell was this? While Izuku was still in the air, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 punched him to the right, punched him up, right again, grabbed his leg, slammed him down so much he bounced off the ground, put his fists together to slam him down again, making him bounce, and punched him to the left. While he was still in the air, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 kicked him down to the floor, grabbed his leg, threw him into a wall, grabbed his head, dragged him through about 40 feet of the wall and throw him towards the wall behind the throne, and Izuku landed on the throne. While Izuku was trying to catch his breath, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 walked in front of him. They both waited for the other. Izuku catching his breath, and 𝗔𝗓𝗧 seemed to be waiting on something. Then 𝗔𝗓𝗧 raised his hand and a blue aura came from it. Then his sword came to him and he raised it high above his head. I is this 𝐎𝐻𝐢𝐵. And no, I am made so many promises. I still have to wake him. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 slammed his sword down and dust covered them. Once the dust cleared, 𝗔𝗓𝗧 seemed to look like the job was done. But it wasn't. Izuku had his right hand raised and caught the blade. He began to push back. No. He pushed back more and stood up. I haven't lost yet. He used all his strength and pushed the sword out of 𝗔𝗓𝗧's hands. He quickly equipped his dagger and jammed it into 𝗔𝗓𝗧's open spot on his mask, causing purple ooze to come out. While 𝗔𝗓𝗧 was still recovering, Izuku grabbed him and rammed him into a wall. 𝗔𝗓𝗧 pulled the dagger out and tried to slice Izuku, but it didn't stay in his hands and Izuku dodged. That dagger can't change owners. He equipped it. It'll go right to my inventory and then right back to me. He stabbed 𝗔𝗓𝗧 in the underside. If his mask where his chin would be, that wasn't protected. Too shallow. I have to stab deeper. He pulled the dagger back that 𝗔𝗓𝗧 seemed to be stuck to and slammed him into the wall, stabbing the dagger deeper. I am not dying today. An image of Izumi came to his mind. I made a promise I would see her graduate. He began using Fatal Strike and 𝗔𝗏 came to his mind. I have to help 𝗔𝗏 become a guild. An image of Hain-cha. I promised her I would be waiting for her when she got back from Jeju. An image of his mom, and I have to wake her up. If you stand in the way of all these promises, then I have to kill you. He pulled the dagger all the way out and pulled his arm back. I will kill anyone who stands in the way of these promises. He stabbed the dagger through 𝗂𝗧𝗏's head with so much force that the dagger went through the head and even went through the back of the helmet. 𝗂𝗧 stopped moving and Izuku fell down breathing heavily. I will keep my promises. He propped himself up and saw a screen. I kill him. That was too close. That was more luck than a win. He had me beat in ability, technique, experience. Surpassed me on every level. He stood up and 4 screens appeared. I just got 4 rewards. A pouch with 1,500,000 gold in it. He chuckled at the next one. Guess I get your helmet, fella. And it's S rank. He equipped the helmet. Sure, the Demon's Castle key was S rank, but this is my first S rank piece of gear. And it gives a 20-point boost to strength and vitality. A ruler's hand stone. What skill is that? I'll figure it out later. He held out the last item, and lastly a teleportation stone. It won't go in my inventory. Why did it appear now and not before I beat the boss? Wait. He looked at 𝗂𝗧𝗏's body. No. Don't tell me. This isn't over yet. Multiple gates opened and a screen appeared. The quest begins now. Then what the hell was that before? What's all this about? Another screen appeared. Yeah, good luck, but... The screen was replaced. A timer. Is this SHT infinite? Knights began to walk out of the gates. If they were as strong as 𝗂𝗧𝗏 was, then I would be overwhelmed in seconds. But these are just basic knights like from before. I can handle guys like these easily enough. The room kept filling up with knights, though there are quite a few. Izuku charged in and started landing attacks on knights. Minutes passed as he kept this up. I keep fighting, but the gates keep puking them out. The whole point is to see how long I last. So, he activated his stealth skill and hid behind a pillar. After using Fatal Strike 50 times on 𝗂𝗧𝗏, I only have 760 MP remaining. Stealth cost 400 MP to cast and 2 MP every second. This will buy me 3 minutes. He started dodging behind the knights and kept hiding behind pillars to get behind the spawn gates. But suddenly an eye appeared in the center of the room, looked at him, and blinked. Suddenly Izuku was no longer invisible. Damn it. The mages used a spell to see me through stealth. A knight hit him with a sword and he was sent back. 3 knights behind him swung their weapons down at him and he used a murderous intent skill to cut their power in half. He then punched the 3 knights. All right then. No stealth or murderous intent. A knight got behind him and sliced up his back. Izuku fell forward a bit, regained his footing and kicked the knight away. How long has it been? He looked up. Only 5 minutes. I can't keep going. I hate to, but I gotta use the stone. He pulled the teleportation stone out of his pocket, but as he was about to use it, a knight with a warhammer slammed his arm, making him drop it. Then all the knights charged him and he was sent into a pillar. Don't know where that stone went. And there's no time to look for it. My only options are to beat them or die trying. And dying isn't an option. He rushed forward, snapped a knight's head off, swung the body at some others making them fall over, and kicked another knight. Stamina is at its limit. And I can't use 2 of my best skills. A knight punched him against a wall, but I won't give up. I refuse. I am going to survive. Countless knights rushed him, but he kept punching them or kicking them away. If anyone knows what it's like at the bottom of the food chain, it's me. But I never stopped striving to climb higher, even after so much happened. He remembered when All Might told him he couldn't be a hero without a quirk a year before he awakened. I will not give up now. His vision began to get blurry and he couldn't lift his arms. And then things he had heard from the past came to him. They call him the weakest hunter of all time. Wait, really? That's a thing. A knight sliced his leg, making him fall onto the ground. It started when he got hospitalized after he got injured in an E rank gate. If that isn't weak, then I don't know what is. He heard words 𝐒𝐻𝐁 had said to him before. You're done. So give up. Stop now before you break, kid. Juhi, listen to Mr. Song. You push yourself way too hard. Then he saw himself. A version of himself before he got the system. You deserve this. It began walking around him. Now why did you go and do something so dangerous? I know you were at the bottom, but you came so far. That should have been enough, don't you think? Izuku. Kind of hard to believe this is really me. I mean, look at you. taller, more muscular. He appeared at his right. You look strong. But I guess it's only your appearance that's changed. No matter how much you improve, you're still weak. He appeared at his left. Hell, you're right at death's door again. How many times is this now? Has to be in the hundreds. Maybe thousands. Izuku blocked a blow from a knight, but he was sent tumbling on the floor, landing on his back. Rank Hunter Izuku Midoriya. That's all you will ever be. A dreamer who never learned his place. Shut your mouth. A knight swung its sword right at his head, but he slid out of the way, landing on his feet. But behind him was a giant knight that grabbed his head and slammed it into the floor, making a puddle of blood. He attempted to get up. So pathetic. All that talk about how ready you are, and this is the best you could do. You'll have nothing to blame for your death but your own ego. I don't want to be someone who has to be protected by everyone. I want someone who everyone can rely on to protect them. Knights approached him with their weapons raised. This all feels so familiar. He had flashbacks to the double dungeon. I can't remember what happened next. Suddenly a screen appeared. The quest. A knight raised its sword and the other Izuku spoke. Guess luck's one of your skills too. Seems like fate has decided it would be a waste for you to die here. Till next time. The screen changed. You will be teleported to the penalty zone. Right as the sword was about to connect, he was teleported. When he opened his eyes, this is the penalty zone. Anya, I didn't do the daily quest. Means it's past midnight. He stood up. Good timing. This penalty saved my life. No wonder it wished me luck. I wouldn't have survived without it. Or was the system cheering me on because it wants me alive? Who knows? He opened his shop and bought fatigue potions. First time my fatigue went over 90. His fatigue dropped to 0. He attempted to drink a health potion. I guess potions won't restore my HP if I'm below a certain point. I can either wait to heal naturally or try to get restored by leveling up. Since I'm not in the dungeon anymore, when I level up my health will restore and so will my mana. 5 giant desert centipedes came out of the sand. Leveling up it is. He threw the potion in the air. Till next time, he said. He dashed towards the enemies. If I live long enough, I'll see him again. He equipped his dagger. Any pain I go through. He slashed down a centipede, but its scales were too thick. Any suffering I endure. He jumped on its back. If it doesn't kill me. He ran up its back and cut its neck open. Will make me stronger. 3 hours and 55 minutes later, Izuku Midoriya now stood on the dead bodies of the centipedes, and his level was now 51. Level 51 health, 22,600 mana, 9,310 strength, 133 intellect, 83 agility, 103 perception, 99 vitality, 111 available ability points, 33. He jumped down. Nice to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. 5 minutes until I return to the job change quest. Should use this time to short out my gear. He opened up his shop and looked through it, and a dagger caught his eye. Buy. He spent 2,800,000 gold, leaving him with 302,629 gold left. A dark red curved dagger appeared in his hands. Night Killer 𝗧𝗵𝗲. This thing deals 25% more damage to armor types. It's a little pricey, but I will be worth it. And that leaves the rune stone I got. He broke it, not sure what it is. But it is a ruler's hand, so it has to be decent. A screen popped up. It doesn't need mana. But I can manipulate objects without touching them. Like he did with his sword. He held his hand out and attempted to pick up a centipede but failed. I'll have to up my proficiency to move something big. He got some bandages from his inventory and wrapped his right hand and lower arm. I've prepared myself as best I can. The rest will come down to luck. He was then teleported back to the dungeon. I see you invited some more friends. He readied himself. Let's go. He slashed through a knight like butter with Night Killer. Knew this knife was worth it. Much better than fist fighting. Started to look like that piece of 𝐒𝐻𝐁 all might. He lifted his head from looking down. But something feels off. No matter how many enemies I kill, I don't gain any XP. The mages are casting, but nothing is happening. The knights are the only ones fighting. He killed 3 more knights and he saw it. The mages were opening the gates, summoning the knights, summoning magic. The knights are just weapons they have been calling through the gates. That also explains why I'm not getting XP. He jumped on a knight and used it as a springboard to jump again, 'cause the ones I should be targeting. He summoned Kasaka's Fong dagger and threw the dagger through the mage, killing it. Are the mages, /6 1/6 of all the knights disappeared. I was right. He turned invisible and jumped on the pillars. 1 mage down. The eye made him visible, 5 left. He used Ruler's hand to pull the dagger back to him, kicked off a pillar and sliced another mage. 2 down. For left. He began cutting through knights left and right and used Ruler's hand and crushed a knight's skull. Enough of this. He used Ruler's hand on a mage. Get over here. He pulled the mage in and used Fatal Strike on it, killing it. 3 more. The final 3 mages combined their magic power and used all the dead knights that laid at Izuku's feet and combined them into a massive knight, a golem. The golem punched down towards him, but he jumped out of the way and ran up its arm. He then jumped on the chandelier that was above it and cut it down, keeping the golem in place for a moment. They thought 1 heavy weight would win it for them. But fewer targets just makes it easier for me. He jumped down and used the dash skill and cut down all 3 mages. In on go, your turn to die. The knights disappeared and the golem threw the chandelier off and punched towards Izuku. He blocked it with Night Killer. Your summoners are already dead. He pushed on the dagger with both hands, making the armor crack and cave in. So how about you die too and join them in hell? He slammed the dagger all the way through and the golem crumbled. A screen appeared and Izuku breathed heavily. I think I won. But what does that mean? Will I be able to SWCH to a more advanced class with the points this quest got me? If so, I imagine it's gonna be based on my performance. I won't get to choose. A screen appeared. Wherever the player goes, the angel of death follows. Whatever path the player takes, it is littered with corpses and the stench of death and bloody remains. The hell? I'm not following. In addition, the player craves great power and blazed his own trail without relying on others. The player's thirst for strength call forth the ghosts that roam the valley of death. The ghosts summoned by the Shadow Army will follow the player's orders as the Shadow Army and make way only for the player. Shadow Army. A screen appeared. No. This doesn't make any sense. That's my new job class. He looked at the screen. Necromancer. What the hell? My intellect stat is the one I ignore the most. So how the hell did I? Necromancers are backline mage class. I'm an assassin build. My main stat is strength and I use daggers with a close range combat style. A backline class like Necromancer would waste all that. The screen changed. Oh, I can say no. The benefits aren't clear. Maybe I should pass on this. The screen changed. Necromancer is a hidden class. Will you still decline? A hidden class. He sighed. Does it have some kind of special power? Necromancy. 𝗬𝗏 has some kind of frame of reference. He kicked a knight helmet, but I don't. He looked at the bodies, summoning magic. These mages were just showing me a little sample. It wasn't necromancy specially, but it was close enough. And my opponents all had abilities I had seen from previous fights. He chuckled. The system made this job change quest seem optional. But maybe it was inevitable. The mages weren't strong on their own. But I am. Not to mention there's no rule that says necromancers can't fight on the front lines. If classes work like stats, then as I level up, my skills with 2. And my shadow army will become stronger. In other words, I won't be solo leveling anymore. He looked at the screen. Accept. Power rushed through him and a screen appeared. Your job has finalized. Depending on the advancement points acquired, you may progress to a higher class. You have succeeded the expected survival time. You have defeated all the enemies. The instant teleportation stone was not used. Your remaining health is above 50%. You have been rewarded additional points. Total number or promotion points had exceeded the limit. You have been promoted from Necromancer to the Shadow Monarch. You have learned new job-specific skills. You have obtained bonus stats. You have acquired the title Conqueror of Adversity. I got 2 job changes in one go. I was able to level up my job because of my additional points. And good thing too. No telling how long I would have been stuck as a necromancer. He landed on the floor and he heard screaming. He looked at the corpses of the knights and the mages. It sounds like they're in pain. Shadow extraction may be used on this target. That must be one of my job skills I acquired. If the job of a necromancer is comparable to that of a commander, then that means, please specify a designated command for the shadow extraction skill. A designated command. He smirked. Arise. The knights and mages rose from the dead in pitch black with parts of them glowing blue. Oh, this is awesome. Job-specific skill shadow extraction LVL1. No mana required. Mana can be created from a lifeless corpse to create a shadow soldier. The possibility of a failed extraction increases in proportion to the target's strength and how long it has been since their death. Number of extractable shadows. 30 job-specific skill shadow preservation LVL1. No mana required. Shadow soldiers can be absorbed and preserved by the summoner. Preserved soldiers can be summoned at any time or be reabsorbed for later use. Number of preserved shadows. 0/20. These must be my soldiers. I got mages and knights. They come in different ranks too. The knights are the rank of standard and the mages are the rank of elite. He turned around and looked at the corpse of 𝗂𝐵 the Bloodred. If it's possible to extract A or S rank shadows and their power level reflects how strong they were in life. He walked towards the corpse and stared down at it. Hell yeah. It's possible. Since I have a limit to my storage, I'll release 11 of the knights. 11 of the knights disappeared. Now then. Knight Commander 𝗂𝐵 the Bloodred. Will you submit to my control? Arise. A gust of wind came from the body and the extraction failed. Damn it. I only get 3 tries. 2 more left. He took a breath. Arise. It failed again, 1 more time. He thought for a moment and spoke. You're waiting for your kind, aren't you? How can you be certain he'll return? Or if he hasn't died? Knight Commander 𝗂𝐵. You are a warrior. That means your purpose is to cut down your foes. Will you just sit here waiting for a king that may never return? Will you let your blade rust in this crumbling ruin while your king is dead? He stepped forward. Or will you rise above that fate and serve me? Help me get stronger. Help me get strong enough to protect everyone I care about, instead of defending the throne of a fallen king. Arise. Energy came pouring out from the corpse and it began shaking. It was like it was fighting against it, until it stopped. A black knight with a cape and a red band on his helmet stood in front of the corpse. Shadows that rank knight or higher can be named. From now on your name is simply 𝗂𝐵. 𝗂𝐵 LVL. 7 rank. Knight 𝗂𝐵 kneeled down in front of Izuku and the other shadows followed. Izuku smiled. I look forward to fighting alongside all of you. A gate appeared. Time to leave. He cancelled the summon on his shadows and they returned to Izuku's shadow. He then walked out the gate and the sun shined down on his face. Today marks a new day. I should probably head home and sleep. I have a guardian teacher conference at Izumi's school today. He then got in his car and drove home.